forgot what this was even here. Lunch takeout list. Like, what even was this? Okay, yeah, so it's just talking about Rena's things. Rissa, you made it first again! Yeah, nice. Ad. No, not the ads. Don't celebrate me yet. Okay, I will pause on the celebration. They are mowing the grass near the fence, which is probably a cover to monitor the surroundings, just in case I tried to escape from the school. Okay, we can celebrate now! Let's go, Rissa! Shit stain. After I supported you through everything, this is how you repay me? They must have been thinking that would happen only after school was over. It seemed like I had no idea I'd already noticed their plan. I was trying to run away right at that very moment. Sorry. It's too late. There's no coming back from this. I'll remember this for the rest of my life. Rissa, as long as I stand, I will remember the day you called me shit stain when I celebrated you getting first. By a landslide, by the way. No one's even close to claiming it. I couldn't use the front gate, since they'd find me easily. I moved behind the school building, made sure nobody was around the Curry Garden, ran through it, and dashed to the forest. I walked through the dense undergrowth. Yeah, those losers suck. True! Anything you've been interested in baking? Have you found anything that you're gonna bake? Or no, not yet, because I know you've been watching a bunch of videos. I walked through the dense undergrowth, stepping on dead wood and climbing over fallen trees. After walking through the forest for a while, I came to a small road. I know many back roads in this village because of our club activities, and that knowledge had finally come in handy. So what should I do now? I'm sure the girl already passed my message on to Chie. Those men must be going crazy by now, knowing that I ran away. I found a recipe for butterscotch blondies. It looks so yummy. Nice. Is that what you're planning to make, or you're just like fantasizing? Like, man, I wish I could make that. Everybody, or like, not that you, or like, do you have the ingredients? Is what I mean to say. Like, I do not doubt your skill, but do you have the ingredients? Is what I mean to say. Everybody in the class looked at each other and shook their heads. Chie-sensei looked a bit upset that Dana left school early without telling in person.
でもレナさん、最近はいつも体調悪そうでございましたもんね。みー。
レナ、カバンなんかも置きっぱなしだし、どうしちゃったんだろう。
なんだか、嫌な予感がするぜ。
You are fantasizing by them, okay.
え？
I think I know what's going on. I'm not sure, but I have a very bad feeling about this. She must have taken another ridiculous story seriously or something. I hope she won't do anything crazy. I don't have enough baking equipment to make anything I wanna. I see, okay. I hurried home. My father might be at his new job, or he might have gone shopping. He wasn't around when I got there. Hello, Diana. What do we have here? What is this? What is that? Like, what do you even want me to respond to that, Diana? Now that they're on the move, I'm no longer safe in my own house. They're very dangerous people. They're trained to be capable of attacking the Ministry of Construction, and they actually pulled off the kidnapping of the grandson of the minister. Locked doors and windows don't mean anything to them. In fact, it'd be like I was hiding in a box, which they could open just to get up at me. I could no longer stay at my home. It's very sad and very frustrating. I killed Rina and Teppe, and finally regained a peaceful life with my father. How could this happen to me? I remembered what Keiichi-kun told me before. It expressed my feelings better than anything.
高野さんめ、とんでもない置き土産を。
Why did she give me those terrifying scrapbooks? Why did she tell me the secret of that unthinkable conspiracy? She got me into this. I didn't do anything, it's all Mio-san's fault. But who was interested in her stories? I was. Who let her continue talking? I did. I did that out of curiosity. Who let the memories of Ibaraki return and told Mio-san about them? I did. I depended on Mio-san, hoping that she could somehow save me from the memories I've been trying to forget. I shouldn't have remembered anything about that bizarre incident. Welcome back from ads! Welcome back! If I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten involved in that unthinkable conspiracy. I could have just played around with my friends today. But even if I didn't know about a conspiracy, still continue behind the scenes. So about hot dogs. What about if you baked hot dogs? How would you feel about that, Rissa? Maybe they're like... You like mustard, ketchup, or relish? If I had to choose one on a hot dog? You don't bake hot dogs? But exactly! That's what they tell you. But what if the best way to put them, to eat them with your ass, is to bake them? You've never tried it. So, you can't prove it. Yeah, if I had to choose one, probably mustard. Probably mustard. I guess, yeah. Would I be happier if I faced that day without knowing anything? I have to test it out. Let me know when you do. You know, maybe it's something I could try out myself as well. Maybe it's the most optimal way to eat hot dogs. And then we can enter one of those eating competitions where they like eat the hot dogs. And then we tell them beforehand to bake the hot dogs. Right? Not to do anything else, but you have to bake them. And then we eat them up our ass. That seems like a good idea. Would I be happier if I struggled knowing about it, but ended up swallowed by it? I'm going to end the same way, no matter what I choose to do. I'll fight. Choose to fight. Because that's how I seized my happiness before. When Dina invaded my home, seducing my father, I felt like it was the end of the world. I lived on the verge of despair every day. I thought that the worst misfortune that could befall anyone. But the way things are going, it wasn't really that bad. I had only two enemies, Dina Mamiya and Teppei Hojo. I knew my enemies, and I knew how many there were. I lured them out one by one, attacked them in the dark. It was a very easy problem to solve. Please bake the hot dogs like eat them through my asshole in front of you all. I'm sure that would go very well in a public competition like that. But what about this one? I don't know who my enemies are, and I don't know how many or how strong they are. Even the people I once trusted might be my enemies. I can't possibly be sure. It's totally different from the previous problem. This might be the end of the world. This time, it really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. Where would the hot dogs go? Into the void. You would banish them to the void. But is that really the case? With Dina, I feel it was the end of the world, but I no longer think it was that bad. If I just keep putting it, it'll slowly get pushed up. Slowly over time. This is disturbing. Man, I can't, like, when you hear those people who, like, smuggle drugs by sticking them up their ass, like, I can't imagine. That seems like one of the most uncomfortable things of all time. Like, I do not want... Like, I don't even want to imagine how that feels. Like, sticking, like, a plastic bag up there. That just seems so bad. The sneakers? Why you as well, Hamburger? What does that even... Like, what does that mean? This might turn out to be an easy problem to solve in the end, and I might be able to laugh about it someday. I know that day will come. I know it for sure. So I shouldn't think that this is the end of the world. Let's fight. I can fight. I can still struggle. I'm flipping the TSA. No drugs. Let me pass through. Thank you. Yeah. Like, and it's even awkward afterwards because it's like they're gonna find it, and it's like, okay, well, you have to wait for you to shit out the drugs you've stuck up your ass, and it's like you're just waiting there, and then the agents are waiting for you to shit. Sneakers or tools? What question is that, Hamburger? I'd eat grass and drink mud if I needed to. I'm gonna bet on the 1% chance, even though it's unbelievably small. Mio-san didn't leave me the scrapbooks. I wouldn't have been able to sit at the table to bet. I was lucky that I received the scrapbooks because they gave me the chance to choose my future. If I don't fight, they'll spread the terrible parasite, and this village will face a great disaster. According to the legend, when the demons first came out of the swamp, people became demons right after being infected. And it happened while they were inside the village. These days, symptoms appear only when infected people leave the village, but that applies to the later, weaker parasite. The original parasite can reenact the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Have you heard of Genkem? I can't say I have. And when the infected are in the village, the legend of Oyashiro-sama will be reborn. Humans and demons will start killing each other, and Oyashiro-sama will come down to pacify the disaster. That's what they want. They want people to prostrate themselves before that miracle, and only the people who truly worship Oyashiro-sama will be saved. I see. I know their true intention now. They're gonna reenact the legend of Oyashiro-sama. After all, the villagers always say that Rika-chan is his reincarnation. The stage is all set. They're gonna use the parasite as the curse. So, how are they gonna make it look like Oyashiro-sama came down to pacify everyone? It's where you poop in a bucket and put it in the sun to let it ferment. So you can... I don't know how to respond to that. I really don't know how to respond to that one. Sorry, man. Like, you know what? Good for you, Rissa. That's all I can say. Good for you. So how are they going to make it look like Oyashiro-sama came down to pacify everyone? I get it. They must have some kind of medicine. I don't do that! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, we'll move on. Don't worry. I get it. Yeah, okay. When they recreated the stronger form of the parasite, they found a cure for it at the same time. They're gonna use this cure to save only those people who believe in Oyashiro. You don't believe me. No, I believe you. I believe you, Rissa. Don't worry. I believe you. They're gonna use this cure to save only those people who believe in Oyashiro-sama. And as a result, this village will only have those fervent believers. They're gonna make themselves the absolute rulers of Hinamizawa. Wait. I don't understand, like, what's the reason for... Like, how does it even get you high? And why is it, like, out of everything, do they choose that? I feel like there are way better ways to get that. No? Maybe that's just me. Wait, I still might be underestimating them. Are they going to carry out that horrifying act of bioterrorism only inside Hinamizawa? History proves that when their goal is to control others, people desire to spread their religion across a wide area. Out of the fermentation and poop particles. I see. And, you know, it really makes you wonder, how did people discover this? Like, just like cooking, I can understand it like something that evolves over generations, right? But, like, it's obviously, it's like, oh, you know, you probably try a bunch of different things, you realize which one's poisoned, like, you know, that's stuff that evolves over many generations, right? Discoveries like this, how do people find this out? Like, what would make our ancestors think to shit somewhere and then come back after the sun has made it ferment and then to, like, smell it? Like, this, to inhale it. Like, what's the point? Like, how do you find that out? I'm sure that they conducted research to only bring back the primitive form of the parasite, but to overcome its weakness, namely, that it only thrives in Hinamizawa. I'd rather do coke than shit in a bucket and smell it. I don't think I would rather do coke, though. I guess it depends how addictive either things are, but, like, coke is pretty bad. According to Mio-san's research, the parasite doesn't like its host to be far from the region. So you could smell shit? Trust me, I've smelled shit in worse areas. Or like I've had to smell other people's shit. So don't worry. Its weakness is distance. They could extend the distance. They could extend the area where it can live. With my job that I work as right now I'm unemployed, but like I'm looking to start back again. Hey Ruben, how are you? You want to walk again? Yeah. And there are people I work with. Like some people can't take care of themselves. So I have to take care of them. And you can kind of infer what that means. Wonder how far along their research is. Well, yeah, I had my walk a while ago. Nice. Hope it was a good walk. Maybe even the city? Maybe the whole prefecture? Are you a caretaker? Yes, I am. Might be able to cover nearby prefectures as well. This is too serious to just call it a conspiracy. It's horrifying enough, and its scale large enough to call it a revolution. Thank you. Yeah, no, I enjoy my job. I enjoy my job. My official title is support worker, but yes, I'm basically a caretaker. The day of revival is probably not far off. I can tell how they killed Mio-san, and by the extent of their pressure they're putting on me. They're trying to get rid of the small fish bones stuck in their throat by any means, because that day is coming ever closer. Right now, that's just the job I'm like trying to do. My end goal, ideally, is to be a therapist. That is something I wish to be. In the future. That's currently my end goal. In terms of my professional life. But I need to get a master's for that. So, and I also need to get permanent residency in Canada here, which I don't have yet. So, I'm looking to like work here for a bit more, and then get PR. Hopefully I'm able to get PR after working here for a bit longer, and then I'll look to do my master's, and then I can look to be a therapist. That's at least the plan I have for now. Trying to get rid of the small fish bones stuck in their throat by any means, because that day's coming ever closer. I'm the only one who can stand up against their revolution. I can't trust anybody. I think I can trust Keiichi-kun, but no one else. Mi-chan is out of the question. I can't trust Rika-chan either. Satoko-chan and Rika-chan stick together like superglue, so I can't trust Satoko either. Baker is a great job, okay? There's nothing better than coming home and eating a baked good. Okay? Like, when I go out to buy stuff and, like, get an amazing, like, whatever. Like, it could literally just be bread. Like, amazing baked bread. It is great. No one's on my side. I have to stand up against them alone. The clock is ticking towards the day. I think everybody's job has some contribution to society. You know? Your, like, bakery, you could say, is more of a luxury good, quote unquote, right? It's not really a luxury good, right? But you could say that. But we need luxury goods because that's how we have fun. And fun, I think, is one of the most important things in someone's life. That's why it's my belief. This is something that that I've had many disagreements with my parents about, because their belief is like, oh, you have to do the things that you have to do. And that's like, I disagree with that. I only want to do the things that I want to do. So, you know, it's like, if I'm not doing something that I want to do, my life is only so short. So why would I do the things that I don't want to do? You be a good therapist? Thank you. Dad always says that. I agree with his philosophy then. The clock is ticking towards that day, and the ticking noise made me frustrated. How should I fight against them? What should I do? I needed time to think. I needed a place, a safe area where I could concentrate on thinking. Fortunately, I had such an area already. My hideout at the garbage dump. Nobody ever goes there, so it's safe. Even if they found out about that place, I'm familiar with its surroundings. I know escape routes and places where I can hide. But it has a big shortcoming as a hiding space. It's not hard to imagine what that is. I don't have any stock of food there. That's why I came home. My phone's at 1% and my charger sucks, so it still dies if I stay on it. Yeah, I'm glad, like, I've never had that problem with, like, chargers or, like, phones or anything. But I guess it, like, maybe depends on the charger that you have. But I don't know. I've had other people, like, when using other people's stuff, I have seen that. But it's never happened with mine, which has been lucky. But it's very annoying when that is the case. I opened one of my father's drawers and took out his cash box. The contents haven't changed since the last time I looked inside. My phone sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. There are many new 10,000 yen bills in the cash box. I took them all. I couldn't tell how many bills there actually were, but it looked to be about 80 of them. This should be plenty. If I evaded them long enough to use all this money, that would mean I did pretty well. Plus, I might use it to buy someone off. You never can have too much. Wait, how much did she take? 80 10,000 yen bills. Damn, she's just stealing from her father. You can take the bank book. If they were waiting in ambush at the bank, I'd be done for. It'd be too risky to withdraw money at the bank. I grabbed my backpack. I took the keys from my bicycle. I put everything I think would be convenient to have in the backpack. I didn't care if it got heavy. I choose what was necessary to carry around later at my hideout. Alright, Rissa. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest of your night. It ended up being something I didn't need. I could leave it there. I looked at the clock. It had been 30 minutes since I came home. I stayed here too long. I rushed out of the house. Bye! I went to a small convenience store and bought as much sweet bread and canned food as I could fit in my backpack. An old lady was at the register, probably suffering from dementia. She showed no interest in the extraordinary amount of food I was buying. But as soon as the manager checked the sales that night, he'd find out. The idea didn't bother me because I could no longer walk around in the village in the daylight anyway. The backpack was full and the cans hurt my back as I walked, but that didn't bother me either. I got to my hideout, still carrying the heavy backpack. I organized the stuff I bought. It was very heavy to carry, but I now had sufficient food. The abandoned construction office still has running water, so I could get some from there. I'd wanted to get some vegetables, but in a situation like this, I could hardly complain. After I organized things, I took out the scrapbooks I hid here. I put my brain into top gear, flipping through the pages. So, now what? How am I going to stand up against this gigantic conspiracy? I need to calm down, stay cool, but also think fast. There might not be a lot of time, so I'd have to hurry, but I don't know what to do. It's easy to run to school in the morning when I oversleep. It's easy because I know where I should go. But now, I don't know where I should go or what I should do. Now that I've come to this point, I should tell Oishi-san everything. It's highly likely he's an enemy. That doesn't matter anymore. If it was true, I'd just declare war. But if he was on my side, he'd be my only remaining hope. I'm far too weak to stand alone against the terrifying scale of this conspiracy, poised to instill fear throughout Japan. I'd have to use a public phone to make the phone call. There's only one public phone in this village that stands at a place where it's hard for people to spot you. That phone booth. It stands in the middle of nowhere where nobody really comes around. Many bugs gather around the light when it's dark, and it's not a pleasant place to go to. But I can't think of any other public phones I can use to contact Oishi-san without being seen. Even though it stands in the middle of nowhere, it's still dangerous to use in the daylight. I should wait until nightfall and take advantage of the darkness. I heard that Oishi-san had been holed up in the station since Mio-san's murder case, so I should be able to reach him anytime. I have the number for the direct line to his office too. The sky was still bright. Even though I had no time, I still had to wait for it to get dark. Frustrated, I glared at the sunset. I should find something to do. I couldn't waste any time that I had, so there must be something to do. After I thought about what I could do, I found there was something I wanted to confirm. Something I've been worried about. I couldn't do anything else before it got dark anyway. Staying here doing nothing would just make me more frustrated. I made my decision and left the hideout. Rena's father paced up and down restlessly. Oh no. Rena's father paced up and down restlessly in front of his house. A bicycle appeared, its rider ringing the bell.
秀才さんここですここです
A police officer from the Hinamizawa police station had showed up. Having rushed to get there, he was breathing hard.
お待たせしました。状況をお伺いします。
確かに施錠して出て行ったんです。そしたら、まず家の扉が開きっぱなしになってまして。
He led the police officer into the house.
それで、私の部屋の手提げ金庫がまんまとやられまして。
ご主人、これはその時のまま？触ってない？
ええ。犯人の指紋とかあるだろうと思いまして、金庫には触れてません。ただ中身を確認したので、 中のものには少し触れています。
それで、取られたものは？
貯金通帳と印鑑は大丈夫だったんですが、中に入ってた現金を全部。
通帳と印鑑、大丈夫だったんですか？そりゃあ不幸中の幸いでしたね。最近は通帳から足がつくと思って、プロは現金しか持ってかないんですよね。こりゃあだいぶ手慣れた空き巣かな。金庫ごと持ってかないで、この場で開けちゃうってんだから、相当のプロだね。で、お金はどのくらいやられちゃって？
ちょっと数えてなかったんですが、多分1万円札で100枚近くはあったと思います。
そう。それだけの現金が入ってること、誰かに知らせた？
いえ、誰にも知らせてはいませんが、あの女たちなら、この家に金があることを知っていたかも。
あの女？ちょっとお話を聞かせていただけますか？
実は、あまりみっともいい話じゃないんで、マミヤ・リナという女とですね。
Just then the phone rang.
すみません、ちょっと出てきますね。すぐ戻ります。
He grabbed the phone.
はい、竜宮です。
すみません。前原と申しますが、レナさんはいらっしゃいますか？
レーナはまだ帰ってきてません。
まだ帰ってない？
いや、申し訳ないんですが、ちょっと今立て込んでます。遊びの電話でしたら、またかけ直していただけますかね。申し訳ないですね。失礼いたします。
He hung up after that. Dude, Rena is creating all sorts of problems. I was stunned. It didn't look like anything had changed on the surface. It was hard to find it places at all because it perfectly blends in with the surroundings. I only found this place again because I remembered... Wait a second. Is her text more red? Does her text represent her mental states? It was pink and then got red and then now it's more red. We found this place again because I remember there was a tree with a big lump of wood on it nearby. The spot where I buried the corpses were perfectly camouflaged, as if nothing had happened. That's why at first I thought I came to the wrong place. But I could make certain once I stuck a shovel into the ground. I should be able to tell right away whether this place was dug up before or not. After several false starts, I found the exact spot where I buried the corpses. What? It was the exact same thing that happened to Keiichi. Okay. Why? How come? Did I bury them deeper than this? No, I didn't. Remember exactly how deep I buried them. I know I didn't bury them deeper than this. I wasn't expecting this. I came here to check the corpses. I just wanted to do that to kill some time. I didn't want to stay in my hideout doing nothing, so I came here to check if the corpses I buried were still there. I'd make sure that they were still there and I'd feel relieved. It was supposed to go like that. This was such an unexpected turn of events. I broke out in a cold sweat. What's going on? What's going on? It was the exact same thing that happened to Keiichi. I wonder if somehow the earth, like, moves? Like the ground moves or something. That, like, somehow shifts the bodies. But it's just weird. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's such a drastic degree it shifted. Like, it's just not there. That would be crazy. Yeah. But, like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm just trying to rationalize it, but it doesn't make sense. I don't need to calm down and think about what happened. Corpses can't come back to life and crawl out of the ground. Someone must have dug them out. Who did it and for what purpose? Did anyone happen to see us burying the corpses here, and did they dig them out after we left? What if they handed them over to the police? No, it can't be. It's been quite a while since the day we buried them here. It was before the Watsunagashi festival. So if the police did find the corpses, when Oishi contacted me, he had to know about Rina and Teppei. But he didn't tell me anything about them. I don't think he was hiding anything on purpose either. So that means the police didn't know about Rina and Teppei yet. Then why are the corpses gone? That'll leave only one answer. Who knows about this place? One of us came here, dug out the bags, and took them away. The first person who came to mind is Mion. I mean, the Sonozaki family, but I can't think of a reason why they would do that. The murder of Rina and Teppei had nothing to do with them. I'm sure they didn't want to get involved either, let alone be falsely accused. They must want to stay as far away from this case as possible. Why would they want to keep the corpses? It's like keeping a Joker, even though you'll lose if you have the Joker by the end of the game. If I was Michan, what would I do? What would I do if I was club president? The Joker is a card that you want to get rid of, at least in the game I mentioned earlier. But it becomes a powerful card in other games. What kind of game would that be? An electric shock ran through my spine. At the same time, I realized it. They're one step ahead of me. The Sonozaki family got the corpses to use them as a Joker, as a wild card. They're trying to use them to sell me out to the police. The Sonozaki family trying to kill me using their death squad, but they want to have insurance just in case they fail. The thing they're afraid of the most is that I might work together with the police. If they can prevent that from happening, I have no one to work with. If that happens, I can no longer run away from them. I'd still be a fish in their pond. They're going to use the corpses to sell me out to the police for the murder of Rina and Teppe. If the police started seeing me as a suspect, they'd never listen to my story. They could have been my last hope, but this will certainly turn them against me. And I'm sure the Sonozaki family doesn't want to use their Joker unless absolutely necessary. After all, Mio and Sonozaki help bury the corpses. Plus, they don't want the police to hover around Hinamizawa when the day of revival is so close. I'm going to call Oishi tonight and ask him for help. I'm going to tell him everything, including the things I haven't told Keiichi-kun. I don't know if Oishi will believe me. This is a gamble, and my chances of winning is very small. Plus, my worst enemy has the Joker, the bags with the corpses inside. I'm impressed with Mion. That's just what I'd expect from the leader of our club. This is a battle that I'm betting my life on, but to Mion, this is like a board game, taking place across Hinamizawa itself. I grinned, repeating to myself that it's just a game. I put my life on the line for every club activity that we do, because I don't want to suffer the punishment. This time, it's become the literal truth. There could be only one reason why they're trying so hard to drive me into a corner. It's because they're afraid of me. I assumed I was just a little girl with no power, running around in confusion. But my enemy must not be thinking that way. If they didn't think I was a threat to them, they wouldn't take risks like this to drive me into a corner. That means the scrapbooks Mio-san left me must be way more dangerous to them than I think they are. You see, they have a Joker. But so do I. The Joker I have is so deadly and so powerful that it can break their plot into pieces. That's why they're so eager to find me. A cornered mouse really can bite a cat. I felt my fear towards my enemy fade away all of a sudden. Just as I feared them. So do they fear me too. So this is an evenly matched game. I don't have as bad a hand as I thought I did. I was right to come here. I found about the card that my enemy was holding. This is a big deal. I felt myself shiver with excitement. I grinned to encourage myself. I don't need to be here any longer. They know this place. They might come here to find me. It's not as safe for me to stay here for so long. I decided to go back to my hideout. On the way back, I passed close to my house. I noticed something different right away. I hid behind a bush and looked at the front gate of my house. My father was talking to a police officer. I strained to catch their
は
conversation.
い。いつもはそこに止めてあるはずなんです。
My father pointed to the place where I usually parked my bicycle.
わかりました。もしお嬢さんが帰られましたら、こちらの方でも探してみます。
Michan, you're good. Did you already play your Joker? Mion always starts a battle by attacking without hesitation and wins. It seems like the police are already after me. My chance of being able to explain the conspiracy to Oishi was already small, but this makes it even smaller. That's why I'm going to talk to Oishi. He sees the Sonozaki family as his enemy, and he's trying to expose everything about them before his retirement. That's why he'll be on my side. He's not going to fall for their trick. Of course, there's a very high possibility that everything was part of their trap from the very beginning. The coincidences are piling up. It's just, like, ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. But this is, like, actually how... Like, I think at this point, it's safe to call Dena going insane. But, like, I do think her initial thing at the beginning was partly right. But at this point, it's getting out of hand. She's thinking there's a bigger conspiracy and there actually isn't. But this is actually how insane people see things. No matter what happens, they're able to reason it in a way that makes sense with their story. It's possible that he claimed Sonozaki family was his enemy in order to make me believe that he's on my side. But their Joker is actually giving me hope. If Oishi is one of them, it would be too early to play their Joker. Oishi isn't one of them. That's why they got the Joker, so they can play it before I go with the police. No, wait, that might be a trick to make me think that way in order to make me trust Oishi. When Mion gives me two choices to choose from, it's usually better to choose the one I like without thinking too much. Mion, after all, likes to guess people's intentions in order to confuse them. So when you think about a choice too much, you're already in her trap. I'm gonna do as I planned. I'm gonna call Oishi after it gets dark. If he's gonna become my ally, we can talk about the future. And if he isn't, then I realized what I had to think about before it got dark. Dude, Rodena is... I don't even know what to say. I have no clue what to say. She is... completely lost it! I still think there's some truths, right?
いえいえ、時間のことは気にしないでくださいよ。
But like, not this much.
残業代はついちゃいませんが、ちゃんと勤務中ですので。
Started the conversation with an ordinary greeting to try and gauge his reaction. There's a 50-50 chance that Oishi is one of them. If he's their pawn, he'd either lure me out somewhere so he can arrest me, or he'd ask me where the scrapbooks are. But even if he didn't, that wouldn't prove anything. It's going to be difficult to determine if he's on my side or not. And I'd have to tell him about the scrapbooks, no matter what. My heart's beating very fast. Even if I was sure that Oishi isn't their pawn, I'd still have to make him believe such a crazy story. Well, he's gonna ask for the scrapbooks anyway, because he needs it for evidence. Like, I'm sorry, Irena. No matter what he says, he's gonna need it for evidence. So, once he asks for the scrapbooks, it's over for him. And I'm pretty sure when I was looking at Steam, one of the achievements was like, realize the, what is it? Yeah. Realize how deep the conspiracy really goes. So, she's gonna... she's gonna think Oishi's in on it or whatever. Hello, Dianea. I'd have to do that over the phone. Worrying wouldn't do anything for me. This is, I know, a gamble, but I have a small chance of winning. If I didn't put my chips on the table, the game wouldn't even start.
以前も少し話しましたが、やっぱり私、何者かに狙われてるみたいです。
それは本当ですか？
ええ、以前までは、ひょっとすると気のせいかもしれないと思う程度だったのですが、昨日あたりから間違いないと思うレベルになりました。
間違いないレベルと言いますと？
数台の車が私の身辺を伺っているようなんです。うちの1台は白いワゴン車で、造園屋に偽装した4人の特攻隊と思われる人間が乗っています。
特攻隊というと、園崎家の暗殺部隊の？
はい、おそらくそうに違いないと思います。今日、学校にまで詰めかけてきました。あわやのところで逃れましたが、危ないところでした。
I wonder what Oishi's gonna think about all this.
しかし、なんだって急に。まさか、竜宮さんが富武殺しについて嗅ぎ回っているとでも思い込んだんですかね。
Oishi hasn't mentioned the scrapbooks yet. It sounded rather unnatural to beat around the bush like that by mentioning Tomitake's murder. But as I haven't told him about the scrapbooks, it could be a legitimate reaction.
実はですね、ついさっき嫌な話を耳にしました。もうちょっとちゃんと調べてからお耳に入れたかったのですが、お互い新情報を知ったら伝える約束です。ですので、とりあえずお話しておきます。実は、沖宮の園崎組で悪い動きがあるらしいんです。
園崎組で悪い動きですか？
ええ、ちょっとショックな話かもしれません。実は、若い衆に人探しを命じているという話なんですがね。
人探し？
My heart stopped for a moment upon hearing that. Are they...
私もにわかには信じられません。探しているのは、あなたらしいんですよ。竜宮レナを探させているそうなんです。まだ仕入れたばかりの情報なんで何が狙いかはつかめていませんが、あな
wonder
た
if
の
it's
名前が出
because
ている
she's
ことだけは
missing
間違いありません。
or something else.
私が身に危険を感じ始めているという話。
ねえ、互いの話がきれいに一致します。竜宮さん、これはどういうことですか？お心当たりは？
What they're really looking for are the scrapbooks I have. They want to know where they are and they believe I'm hiding them. They must be thinking that they'll be able to hide the information in the scrapbooks forever if they succeed in shutting my mouth. But I couldn't tell Oishi about that yet. I answered his question by asking him
大
a
石さん
question.
の方で何かわかりませんか？私には全然どうしてだか。
私だってわかりません。園崎組があなたという個人を狙って動くなんて考えられない。でも事実なんです。信頼できる筋から得た情報で紛れはありません。
園崎組が私に関心があるのではなく、園崎本家が 私に関心があるというのはどうですか？
こういった動きはめったに見せるものではあ
Oh,
りま
couch.
せん。例えば、組の上納金の持ち逃げがあったとか、
What is
そうい
your
うトラブ
video
ルがあっ
here?
た時には、こういう騒ぎもあったりします。
Okay. Wait, why is this? I want to get rid of the store pages, man. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I've heard of this pigeon here. Or maybe not this exact one, but I've heard of something similar to this. What is this? So a cool animal fact. What is that? Hmm. Damn. How does it like? Because it would be slower during this. Yeah. Like. Damn. Is that a? I don't know. That's a good thing though. Like, I mean, obviously, like it's nice that it was like the bird was preserved, right? But I don't know if the bird would, want to be like, maybe it is. It would want to be, like preserved in that way. I don't know. It's hard to say because like I'm thinking like if it was me, would I want myself in a museum like that? But I mean, I think there's some parts that are cool about it. The song in the background, I see. Was it Live and Learn? Does it have it in the thing? It's hard to tell. It might be. It honestly might be. Very cool. We'll never know. The bird can't communicate. Yeah, it is true. But I mean, yeah. It is hard to say, but I hope the bird lived the fact that, like, you would expect that, like, if, somebody gets shot, right? And they would live, they live for, like, until the adrenaline runs out, and then they die after, usually. But, like, no, the bird managed to live afterwards as well, which is wild. Giga Chad bird. That's simple.
でも、それは大抵組関係の業界の話で、仇である個人が対象となるなんて前例がありません。
私がその貴重な一例目であるのは嬉しいですが、前例がないで済まされちゃこっちはたまらないです。
まあ、竜宮さん。落ち着いて落ち着いて。今度は竜宮さんが話す番じゃないんですか？
何をですか？
竜宮さん、園崎組がこういう動きを見せることは、 おいそれとあることじゃありません。何かの誤解にしたってなかなかあることじゃない。心当たりはありませんか？竜宮さんにとっては何気ない何かが彼らを誤解させている可能性もあります。私の読みでは連中、あなたが園崎本家周辺を嗅ぎ回っていて何かとんでもない事実をつかんだ。それは竜宮さんが日々の生活でしてしまうような些細なものじゃない。もっと目立つ何かです。本当に心当たりはありませんか？
Is he my ally or my enemy? I still can't figure it out. This is it. Make your decision, Rena
多
Ryugu.
分、私がミオさんのスクラップ帳を預かっているからだと思います。
ミオさん、高野ミオのスクラップ帳ですか。そいつは一体。
If he was my enemy, he wouldn't be able to hide his excitement. But his voice remained steady, and it didn't sound unusual when he said the word scrapbooks.
実は私、ミオさんが殺される数日前に彼女と図書館で出会って、その時に意気投合して彼女に研究をまとめたスクラップ帳を数冊預けられたんです。
研究をまとめた？
はい。ミオさんはひなみ沢村の歴史について深く研究していたんです。そしてそれらを数冊のスクラップ帳にまとめていました。奴らはミオさんを殺した時、スクラップ帳が何冊か足りないのに気づき、それを私に託していたことを気づいたのだと思います。
奴らの狙い、リグさん、それは一体何なんですか？
ひなみ沢がかつて鬼ヶ淵村と呼ばれていた太古の昔についての研究をまとめたものです。お社様信仰の発祥について書かれています。
お社様信仰？人食い鬼の末裔が仙人になってっていう？
ええ、ミオさんはその研究の中でお社様信仰についてのある重大な秘密を暴いたんです。その研究結果はお社様を神聖であると崇める人たちにとっては極めて冒涜的な内容でした。
なるほどなるほど。信仰の特に盲信的な連中にはその研究の存在が許せなかった。
Oishi was taking notes. I could hear him writing something while he spoke.
彼らはミオさんを消し、そのミオさんが残したスクラップ帳も葬ろうとしているんです。最初のうちは私が持っているのかどうか分かりかねているようだったんですが、昨日を境に疑わしきは殺せという方針に変わったように感じています。
なるほど。そりゃ好ましい状況ではありませんね。あなたの身辺を警戒させましょう。あとそのスクラップ帳を拝見させてください。
Is this? No, I don't have. Man. I don't know why I can't open. I'm able to open up mod view on this. Whatever. This way, give me a second. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's this. Okay. No, it's not. I don't know. I said I would figure this out, but I can't figure this out now. I don't know. We'll see.
高野殺しの何かの手がかりになるかもしれない。
いえ、警察の内部にも奴らの手先が混じっている可能性が高いです。ですから、身辺の警戒は結構です。自分の身は自分で守ります。あと、スクラップ帳も同じです。彼らはそれを抹消しようとするでしょう。たとえ警察の中であっても。
園崎組があなた一人をターゲットに動いている以上、もしこれが園崎本家の頂上からの指令なら、その可能性は確かにありますね。園崎本家が敵だった場合、悔しいですが、私たちの中にも内通者がいないとは限りません。
そういうことです。ですから、私のことは気にしないでください。それよりお願いがあります。とてもとても重要なお願いです。
言ってください。何ですか？
ミオさんの研究によるならば、今、ひなみ沢の闇に恐ろしい陰謀があり、それが 遠くないうちに実行されそうなんです。
陰謀？それは一体何です？
Ban. Yeah, I know. That's what I have to like. But that's the thing. I'm trying to find out, but like I can't. Like, but for some reason, my chat isn't opening up on Twitch. It's very. Actually, wait. Can I do here? Wait. Settings, tools. I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh, here, there we go. Okay. Now if I open this up. There we go. And then... There we go. Okay. We got it. Oh, this is really annoying. I don't know why my Twitch is not, like... opening up... my chat. Like, when I open up Twitch, the chat is just, like... blurred out. Whoa. You guys did not hear that. I'm trying to open it up on another thing, and I ended up opening up my clip first. There we go. Okay, this is open through here. Okay. Okay, well, I guess that works. I got tense all of a sudden. I tell him everything. It's gonna sound like a big lie. I should leave out the bizarre sounding parts for now. It actually make the story more credible.
奴らの正体は、お社様信仰の狂信者たちです。奴らは明治以降、すっかり下火になってしまったお社様信仰と意向を取り戻し、太古の鬼ヶ淵村の時代のような厳格な信仰を復活させようとしているんです。
続けてください。メモしてます。
ミオさんの研究によると、お社様伝説の根底には、大昔のある風土病の存在があるんです。その風土病の猛威が、お社様のたたりと恐れられ、それを治療できる医者的存在が、お社様と崇められ、村を支配した。
そうだったんです。なるほど。続けて。
その風土病は、土着のある特殊な寄生虫によるものだったんです。ですが、長い世代を繰り返すうちに、徐々に無害になっていき、彼らにとって、風土病が無害では、お社様のたたりがなく、たたりがなければ、救いも必要ない。だから、お社様の神聖性が保てないわけです。
それを復活させようとしたら、それはつまり、風土病を蘇らせるということを意味するわけですかな？
そうです。奴らは、お社様伝説をゼロからもう一度やり直し、お社様の降臨を再現しようとしているんです。
Want to recreate the legend of Oyashiro in order to make Oyashiro-sama a deity again. Yes, okay.
そのため、古代の強力な風土病を再発させる原始の寄生虫を研究していたと思われます。連続開始事件の正体は、この研究結果を試すものだったんです。そして、富武さんに対して、古文書に残る氏脇病を再現できた。奴らは5年かけて、原始の力を持つ寄生虫を復活させたんです。
なんてこった。
奴らの最終的な目的は、その寄生虫をばらまき、お社様に帰依する者のみを特効薬で救い、お社様信者のみの楽園を作ろうとしているんです。
それは間違いなく事実でしょうね。
このスクラップ帳には、その寄生虫が、ひなみ沢の人間のほぼ全員に寄生している事実が書かれています。医学的根拠に基づいていて、その寄生を間違いなく裏付けます。
But I wonder if he completely believes so, or if he, I mean, obviously he's a detective, he has to be skeptical, right? But I wonder, like, if he trusts her, the theory that she's proposed here.
信じられない。そう。お寮のババアめ。
Seems like he does believe it more than...
自分一人じゃ三千の川一つ渡らないのか。こいつは無差別テロだぞ。なんてこった。
本来の寄生虫は、ひなみ沢一帯にしか適用できませんでしたが、彼らは、その競技の傾向から、より広域にわたって、寄生虫が環境適応できるよう、改良を加えている可能性が高いです。ひなみ沢だけにとどまらない。沖宮を飲み込むか、市内全域に及ぶか、県全体にまで及ぶか。
くそったり。どうすりゃいいんだ、くそ。 首謀者は誰です？
ひなみ沢御三家。おそらくは、園崎家の当主でしょう。ただし、お寮が主会なのか、お寮すらも駒なのかはわかりません。私には、奴らを奴らと呼ぶことしかできない。その規模も、全くわからないんです。
その研究がどこで行われているかわかりますか？そこを押さえます。
それは、このスクラップ帳にも書かれていません。大石さんの方で、見当はつきませんか？
So always she's completely believing this. So I wonder, like, you know, like always she completely believes this. He's not like Keishi where he's like thinking it's crazy. And I think there's definitely some truth to it as well. But I don't know if it's like as deep of a, like, I guess what Rena here says is true. But I don't know if, I think the people are chasing her, but I don't know, like, you know, how much it is. It's really, even when you swap between Keiichi and Rena's mind, it's hard to get a complete picture of it.
そんな寄生虫だのなんだのの研究をしてるってことは、かなり改造拳銃ぐらいならガレージを改造して秘密工場にもできるだろうが、寄生虫じゃそうはいかないでしょう。
ミオさんは、入江診療所に勤めている看護師でした。入江診療所が怪しいということはありませんか？ひなみ沢の規模から見て、立派すぎるのが前から不審だと思っていました。
はあ、入江診療所か。
They need a specially designed facility with advanced airtight containment, among other considerations, to be able to do research on dangerous parasites like this one. It's easy to equate suspicious research with a clinic facility, but it also sounds too easy and a little cliché. At first I thought they converted part of the clinic into a secret research center, but that actually sounds a little too unrealistic.
とにかく、それがどこかはわかりません。それはどうか、大石さんの方で調べてください。怪しげなところを、片っ端から調べられないんですか？
ご存知の通り、警察は強制捜査には令状ってもんが必要です。そりゃ後付けで取ることもできますがね。間違いなくそこだという決定的な証拠があった時の話です。
Oishi is a police officer. If he's gonna work as a police officer, he has to follow their
でも、
rules.
大掛かりな細菌テロが計画されているのだけは、しかも、ミオさんの殺し方の請求さから見て、私は、彼らが実行に移す X デーが近いような気がしてなりません。
わかりました、わかりました。こちらの方でも何とかしています。そんなとんでもない計画なら、園崎本家も一枚岩ってわけにはいかないでしょう。必ずどこかに胸中で反対している人間がいるはずです。そういう人物と接触できないか。
Everybody streaming Higurashi right now is doing Tsumihoroboshi? Really? Wonder why. That's funny.
任せてください。こういうのは私の得意とするところですよ。
Oishi laughed, trying to cheer me up. I was upset with the work of the police before, but Oishi's positive reaction is very reliable. He's what you might call an outlaw. Oishi's greatest advantage to me is that he doesn't exactly play by the rules. It's very encouraging that he has that kind of skill, especially since we have to act both very quickly and without conclusive evidence. The police normally investigates incidents after they've happened, but that doesn't work in this case. If this incident actually does occur, it's going to be a big disaster.
ミオさんは、なんて恐ろしい陰謀を暴いたんだろうと、恐ろしくなります。
気の毒な最後でした。岐阜の山中でドラム缶の中でこんがりでしてね。
Or a
気の
conspiracy?
毒なことです。ああ、そうそう。そういえば、ちょいと彼女のことで変わった話がありましてね。
変わった話ですか？
最初何か事件に関係があるのかなって思ってたんですがね。今のとてつもない陰謀の話に比べたら、さまつな話です。多分、鑑識のちょっとしたミスでしょう。
いえ、聞かせてください。そういう約束じゃなかったですか？
いえ、隠すつもりなんかありません。ただちょいと夏向きな話だったもんで。
Is he gonna talk about them finding
リ
the
グさん、
bones or something?
渡流しの晩覚えてますか？
Okay, no,
あの
no, no.
晩の祭りの終わった後です。あなたの仲良し5人組と富武、高野の7人で談笑してますよね。
談笑というほどではありませんでしたが、少し話をしたような気がします。
いえ、実はですね、高野の遺体が見つかったのはその晩なわけですが、 でもそれだと話がおかしい。
Yeah, this is the same thing like last time, where the crime lab says that she's been dead for
あの
longer.
祭りの前の晩には殺されていることになる。
殺されてることになる。
I'm confused. If she was found dead on the night of the Watanagashi and she'd been dead for 24 hours, that means...
つまり早い話が、渡流しの日には高野はもう死んでることになるんですよ。だからあの祭りの晩に会った彼女は実はゾンビだったのかななんてね。なまあ、あちらの鑑識のちょいとしたポカでしょう。
I felt my brain freezing over. Or she laughed, saying that it sounded like a horror story from summer camp. But actually the fact that Mio-san's time of death was off backed up her incredulous theories. I haven't mentioned to this one to Oishi or Keiichi-kun. If I did, they'd start to doubt everything else I've said. That's how absolutely unbelievable this theory is. At any rate, the mismatch with the time of Mio-san's death means a lot. What irony. Mio-san came up with the theory, and she proved it correct with her own life. No, not yet. This doesn't prove anything yet. If her theory is true, it might happen again. There's no way it can't be true. I still can't believe it, but Oishi just said it. He said Mio-san was already dead on the night of the festival. It means that the Mio-san who was walking arm in arm with Tomitake-san on that night wasn't Mio-san. Mio-san who was already dead. That wasn't her. That means she was... I felt a new sensation, one I'd never felt before in my life. It wasn't an ordinary kind of dread. It was fear of the truth. No fear is worse than the fear of accepting a truth you don't want to believe. Compared to this fear, the fear of being stalked by the Sonozaki family or being burned alive in an oil drum looked silly. That's how deep of a fear I felt. And I felt it crawling over my body.
リュウさん、悪いことは言いません。警察が信用できないお気持ちもわかります。園崎本家は市内全域を牛耳っていますからね。署にも園崎家の御用聞きみたいな連中がいますし、それでも今のあなたは危険だ。せめて私個人を信用してはくれませんか。私以外の誰も知らないところにあなたをかくまいます。私をどうか信用してください。
I doubt Oishi at this point. I actually think he's very reliable. I would have said yes without second thought, but the situation has drastically changed. If Mio-san's death backs up this unbelievable truth. I trust Oishi, but this isn't Oishi. I believe he'll find the enemy and take them down, but I'd rather protect myself on my own than let someone else do it. If the unbelievable truth is real, then I couldn't trust anybody except myself. No, even myself might appear before me
大石さ
too.
ん、本当にありがとうございます。とにかく、奴らの研究所を突き止めて、なんとか陰謀を食い止めてください。私は、しばらく身を潜めます。また、連絡しますね。
I noticed I'd been on the phone too long. I've been using this phone booth with the light on in the middle of darkness. In other words, I'd been telling everyone I'm here.
もしもし、もしもし。
Shh. She hung up. Oishi wanted to talk more. He clicked his tongue and put the phone down. His junior, Kumagai, rushed into the room.
おいさん、やっぱりヤバそうな山っす。竜宮レナを探させているのは園崎組笠井達義。
Kasai?
笠井？園崎茜の懐刀じゃないですか。
Tatsuyoshi Kasai was a pretty high-ranking big shot, even amongst the boss's younger brothers. He used to be the boss of a subordinate branch, but after suffering a bad injury during a gang war, he stepped down and now he served as the boss's aide. Akane Sonozaki relies especially on him, and as a right-hand man, he's still feared even now. When Kasai moves, other gangs consider it a declaration of war. They fear him very much. He's a warrior amongst warriors. He's been lying low these days, but he's led countless numbers of gang wars. He was also the leader of a professional attack squadron that went to the US to receive military training during the dam conflict. They were crazy enough to think of attacking the Ministry of Construction for real.
情報や界隈でも相当な騒ぎになってるようです。竜宮レナが園崎組にとって相当都合の悪いものを握ってるんじゃないかともっぱらの噂です。
情報屋の皆さんもさすがに勘がいいですね。こりゃとんでもない山になってきたぞ。
佐藤さんは例の建設省とお寮の秘密交渉テープじゃないかって見てるみたいっす。だとすれば人が死ぬ騒ぎになるっすよ。
This is more serious than that, Oishi thought. If her story is true, this is a massive conspiracy. It's going to cause more than quite a few deaths. It might destroy the entire village, or even the entire prefecture. This is going to be the biggest terrorist strike in history.
レナ、 やばいですよ。クマちゃん、覆面パトを竜宮家に貼り付かせてください。本日付で竜宮レナから暴力団組織に脅迫を受けている訴えがあったため、身辺警護ってことにします。課長には後で私から話します。
いえ、実は、竜宮レナは自宅を出ているらしいです。駐在所からの連絡では、どうも家の金を何十万か盗んで、雲隠れしているらしいんです。それから竜宮家の前には、園崎組の車が1台張り付いているという連絡が。
ばっか野郎！なんでそいつは早く言わないんだ！竜宮レナは相当高度に狙われてるぞ。さっきの電話は家じゃなかったんだ。竜宮レナを至急保護します。車回せ！家の前に張り付いてる野郎を締め上げろ！おい！
Holy wait, this is getting very
バカ野郎何
intense.
か来い！
おっす！
レナさんが家にいない？この時間に？
はい。しばらく家の前で待たせていただきましたが、戻られる気配がなかったもので、一度引き上げました。
誰かの家に遊びに行ってるとかじゃない？案外、本家でお姉たちと一緒に部活大会だったりしてね。
Shion was lying down on the sofa, picturing her sister and friends fooling around playing games like they always did.
一応、それを疑って本家にも寄らせていただきましたが、いらっしゃられないようでした。ミオンさんも、レナさんがお帰りになられないのを心配しておられました。
そうなの？どうしたんだろうね。はって。
めったにないことだろうとは思いますが、たちの悪いのに絡まれたのかもしれません。念のため、レナさんを見かけていないかどうか聞き込ませています。
あの子に限っては大丈夫だと思うけどな。何気に強いしね。
それはそうと、私に何の用だったんです？
Kasai took off his jacket. Shion only told him to go see Rena because she heard that Rena had requested to see him in person.
あれ？言わなかったっけ？なんかね、葛西の落とし物を拾ってるらしいよ。お姉が言うには、レナさんそれを直接返したいんだってさ。おうおう、いいね。若い子にモテることで。
堪忍してください。しかし、ご無事だといいのですが。
Right then, the phone rang. Kasai answered it while loosening his tie.
はい。はい。わかりました。直ちに。
Kasai sounded very serious, and Shion immediately figured out who he was talking to.
誰？お父さん？
はい。レナさんを大至急保護して、本家へ護送せよとの、園崎本家からの命令です。
鬼ババの直令？レナさん、何をやらかしたんだか。爪かな。かわいそうに。くわばら。
Yeah, so so Kasai didn't give the order.
レナがまだ帰ってないって？
実は聞いた話だと、レナ、自宅を出てどこかに雲隠れしてるらしい。
雲隠れ？どういうことだ？
あと、これはさっき入ってきた情報なんだけど、警察が竜宮レナの行方を探してるって。
なんだって？
なんでも、レナの家の前にはすでに覆面パトカーが1台張り付いてるらしい。村の中にもすでにサイレンなしのパトカーが数台入り込んでるみたい。あと、君吉本家にも警察から電話があって、竜宮レナの所在を至急確認したいので、懲戒連絡網で確認を
Rena
し
is
てほ
just
しいと
chilling in her garbage hideout.
ってことは、まさか、俺たちの隠した死体が見つかったってことが。
We hid them deep in the mountains. They couldn't have found them that easily.
それは 100% ありえない。私が保証するよ。
おう、よく 100% なんて言い切れるな。
実はね、あの死体、園崎家の方で秘密の場所に処分させてもらったの。
Damn! Maybe Rena was right.
秘密の場所？
まあ、そこは深く考えない。あのね、私たちが埋めたあの山林、
Okay.
後でよくよく聞いてみたら、
That is true. That is true.
だから、ちょっと私の方で手を回させてもらったってわけ。
そっか、お前、味方なら頼りになるけど、敵だった
But
ら
I
怖い
wonder,
やつだな。
dude. It's leaning more to Rena's story. I don't know.
おじさんを誰だと思ってるんだか。
じゃあ、死体じゃないよな。一体どうして警察がレナを。
わからない。北条哲平と間宮里奈が竜宮家を食い物にしようとしてたって話は裏の界隈ではちょっと知られてたらしいんだよ。そっちの角度からレナが浮上したのかもしれない。
Oh, maybe the reason why the family wants her is because of the murders of Teppei and Rina.
とにかく容疑者ってわけじゃないみたい。でも重要参考人とかって扱いではあるだろうね。
どっちだって同じだぜ。くそ、せっかくレナは平穏な生活を取り戻したんだぞ。ここで台無しになんかしてたまるか。ミオ、俺たちでなんとかレナをかばおう。
当然だよ。とにかく警察よりも先にレナの身柄を確保するようさっき沖宮の家に伝えた。本家でならレナを 120% 警察から守れる。
レナをかくまうだけじゃ解決にはならないんじゃないのか。
This is... I still don't know if I could believe Mion 100%, but if this is true, given this is true, then they're both, like, this is so ridiculous. This is crazy. They're both trying to find each other because I can't even word it in a way, like in a succinct way. This is crazy. It's a massive, yeah.
レナの嫌疑をなんとかしないと。
そこは保護してから考えるよ。
This is ridiculous.
アリバイを証明する証人なんかいくらでも作れるし、本家に出入りしてる最高の弁護士もいる。私たちは仲間を絶対に見捨てない。
ああ、そうさ。絶対にレナを守ってやろうな。くそ、俺ができるのはミオンに頼るだけかよ。情けねえぜ。
まあまあ、蛇の道は蛇ってことだよ。おじさんの方で手を尽くすから、ここは任せな。あと、村全体で警察の目をごまかすため、アリバイを作る。レナがゴグラのあたりで目撃されたことにしよう。警察の目が広域に散れば、それだけ薄くなるはずだよ。
なるほどな。そいつはうまいぜ。
こんなのはダム戦争の頃はお手の物だったよ。絶対にレナをかばいきってみせる。あと、ケイちゃん。レナはケイちゃんのことは特に信頼してた。だから、レナの方からケイちゃんのところに現れる可能性がある。その時には、すぐ保護してあげてほしい。その時は、私にもすぐ連絡してね。
お、わかったぜ。
レナは強い子だからね。きっとこんな苦難も乗り越えてみせるよ。
そうだな。
Hesitated to say something. Rena hadn't been her normal self lately. If she was her normal self, I had no doubt that she could overcome this. But Rena is deeply convinced that Takano-san's delusions are true. Rena believes the Sonozaki family is behind the conspiracy. I'm not sure if she trusts the Sonozaki family to protect her.
大丈夫だよ。私とレナだって仲間同士なんだからさ。腹を割って話せば、すぐに誤解だって分かってくれるよ。ケイちゃんだって私と話して誤解が解けたんでしょ
And this one is like, yeah. That sounds about right, Ruben. Thank you for that.
よくもまあ、あんなとんでも話を信じたもんだよ。
まあな、我ながらよくあんな話を鵜呑みにしたもんだぜ。前原圭一。多分一生の恥だぜ。やれやれ。
I really was deeply convinced until I talked to Mion. Even after the promise of friendship we made, I doubted her. Takano-san was endowed with magic, and I think the scrapbooks she wrote also carried a spell. The scrapbooks can make people go mad. They're forbidden scrapbooks, nobody was supposed to read them. Rena is captivated by the power of that magic, even after Takano-san's death. I'd have to wake her up. I got a very bad feeling about this.
ああ、ごめん。来客だわ。なんだか警察っぽいな。じゃあこれで電話を切るね。
お、わかった。
レナは今晩以降、ゴグラのあたりに潜伏してることになってる。警察に何か聞かれても、知りません、会ってませんで通すんだよ。
お、了解。
Mion waited for my answer, then hung up the phone. After she hung up, I slowly started to feel like Rena was being consumed by some huge, unthinkable fate. It's not only the police I'm worried about. I'm also worried because Rena is ensnared by the power of Takano-san's magic. I fear she might be suffering from an incredible anxiety. Oh, right. Rena might be hiding at her secret base in the garbage dump. Rena once told me that she used to spend time there when Dina-san was at her house. And she told me that she hid the scrapbooks there too. If she's hiding there, she might be hungry by now. I should bring her something to eat. I went to the kitchen to look for some junk food. My mother looked
母さんごめん
confused.
ちょっと出かけてくるよ
こんな時間に？もう遅いからよしなさい。
大切な用事なんだすぐ戻るよあとそれからもし俺が留守の間にレナが来るようなことがあったら黙って俺の部屋に通してほしいそれからレナの所在を尋ねる電話が来たら知らないって言って切っちゃって
My mom looked angry that I was leaving the house at so late an hour, but I rushed out of the house before she could say anything. I grabbed a flashlight from the wall of the garage, got on my bicycle, and sped off into the darkness. The moon looked beautiful, but in a creepy way. Like something terrible is gonna happen. I don't know what it is, but I know it's coming. Something is gonna happen. The moon, seemingly knowing what that something will be, looked like it was laughing at us, pacing back and forth in confusion. Damn it. Laugh all you want. Laugh at this funny story as much as you want. I'm not gonna laugh. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna smash through whatever fate is waiting for us. Rena, I hope you're there. Maybe my bicycle needs some oil? It was making a lousy noise as I pedaled. Damn it, even my bicycle's laughing at us. Does it end there? Yup. Ugh, 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 ugh. What? Ugh. Because I don't know if I should do another one because it feels like it's gonna take like 2 hours on the next one, and it's like I don't want to be reading it for 2 hours, but it's like, man, it's still a lot of time before I continue. Like, ugh. Them. Oh no, her texts are like bright red. Finished talking with Oishi on the phone and soon left the phone booth. I realized something and a chill ran through my body. I was in a phone booth that stood out tremendously in the dark. Somebody must have seen me. I was certain. I was being watched. I saw glowing eyes staring at me in the dark. It wasn't human. Was it an illusion? No. I knew who they were. They were the ones controlling the 3 families who ruled Hinamizawa. Its eye level was too low for it to be human, and its outline was vague. I knew from the past records that they were physically frail. The silhouette, which was indicated in its human appearance, was unbelievably unrealistic, especially its protruding head. One of the scrapbooks I received from Mio-san described their appearance in detail. Their eyeballs were pure like blood, and their bodies smelled like ammonia. Even though some of them have, at times, been captured around the world, all of them melted or disappeared, leaving no trace behind. The only traces remaining are the marks proving their descent to Earth. Right then, the impossible, unrealistic silhouette took a step closer, and got closer, and closer towards me, making a realistic noise as it crunched across the gravel. The noise pulled me back to reality. It kept walking towards me. It sounded like it was kicking pebbles everywhere as it walked. It was coming closer and closer. I was scared, so I said the same thing again. And at this time, the glass door of the phone booth I was just in started to rattle and shake. Bang! It made a weird noise of being struck by something. I screamed loudly in fear and started running. I ran so hard it felt like my lungs were about to explode, and then I looked back to find the thing was no longer chasing after me. Was it my imagination? There's no way it was just my imagination. I definitely heard the sound of the gravel being kicked and the phone booth being rattling. Or the phone booth rattling, but I needed to calm down. Right then, I needed to make my heart stop beating so fast. I had to fight them eventually. The next time they appeared, I was going to strike back at them. I was going to squash their heads with my big hatchet. Oh. No. I protect Hinamizawa, and it was my duty to do so. I wouldn't allow them to do whatever they wanted. I saw the lights flickering in my head. Why'd they make this a tip? And not, like, part of the actual thing? Oh, wait, no. Well, shit, she's armed, and Keiichi is going to... Keiichi is going to die. I already did this, right? Yeah, end of chapter 10, okay. Alright, let's go. Next one. Continue. Even if I turned on the light in my hideout, nobody would see it because of the piles of abandoned cars in the way. While I'm aware of that, I decided not to turn it on, just in case. It's a bit scary to hide in this quiet place, alone in the dark, holding my breath. I'd have to keep myself busy with something. My brain won't work properly, and I don't even have the energy to think about what to do from now on. However, I don't have the courage to lie down and sleep and regain my strength either. Every time I heard or thought I heard a suspicious sound, I'd gasp and stare into the dark. That's all I did all night. Oishi believes that the Sonozaki family was behind the conspiracy. But he can't do much without solid evidence. He has to locate the facility where they're doing research on the parasite, but we have no idea where it is. I think the Iria clinic is still the most likely site, but I have no credible evidence. Really, I don't think they do their research in a place so obvious even I could guess it. They might be using one of the bomb shelters that was built during the war as some kind of secret underground research center. Now that I come to think about it, I remember a secret building nobody's allowed into on the premises of the Furude Shrine. I think it's called the Ritual Storehouse. Excuse me. According to Mio-san's research, the Furude Shrine is a center of the local worship of Oyashiro-sama. The priest keeps the tools for ceremonies in the Ritual Storehouse. One of the ceremonies is the bizarre festival, Watanagashi, and so the shrine storage must be something very scared. If I remember right, Watanagashi was also a medical ritual designed to vaccinate and immunize people against the all-too-strong parasites. That means the tools they used for Watanagashi were medical ones. If my guess is right, the Ritual Storehouse is the most sacred place in the village, as well as the most appropriate building to use for medical purposes. It's suspicious. There might be a secret research center in the Ritual Storehouse. Ah, damn it. The police should be performing a raid on the Ritual Storehouse, not the Iria clinic. Why didn't I think of that when I was talking with Oishi on the phone earlier? I hope Oishi realizes this too. Should I go back to the phone booth and tell him about the Ritual Storehouse? When I thought that, I heard a car coming closer. I held my breath. It's not normal for a car to come here this late at night. I thought about many possible scare scenarios, which made me nervous. After a while, I saw the headlights of the car near the former dam construction office. The car must have passed by me and gone to the office. But it's a deserted, empty office building. There's nothing there. It's not a place where people would visit this late at night. While I was staring into the dark, the engine of the car stopped and its headlights were turned off. I could see 2 flashlights flickering in the darkness. The lights moved into the office building. They must think I'm hiding there. I held my breath and kept watch over their movements. I can't tell who they are. Yet, they're pawns of the Sonozaki family. They know that I ran away from home. They must be looking for me everywhere in the village. When I needed to conceal my breath, my face started feeling itchy, and I had an urge to stretch my legs. My own body infuriated me. The humidity made me sweat all over, so the back of my knees and my neck had been itchy for quite a while. Scratching would make an unbelievably loud noise, so I decided not to scratch anymore. It usually doesn't make any noise when I just scratch some mosquito bites. I'm probably just being nervous and overreacting. There's quite the distance between me and them, and I'm in the dark holding my breath. They wouldn't notice even if I sneezed, let alone scratch. I mean, yeah, you're inside like a random junk car. Like, I'm pretty sure you're under like a pile as well, right? From what I remember. They wouldn't even notice it even if I sneezed, let alone scratch myself. But I didn't want to make any noise, so I tried to forget the itchiness. But after that, I ended up scratching everywhere like mad. I have to live in hiding like this for a while. I don't know how long I can go on when I'm so nervous on just the first night. I need to toughen up more so I can remain placid, even in a situation like this. I guess, yeah, Rena doesn't know that at this point everyone's looking for her. Oh no, I guess she knows the Sonozaki family are noticing. She doesn't know the police aren't looking for her. I forced myself to relax, scratched my neck without hesitation, and tried to cope with the sticky sweat all over my body. I started getting hungry. My stomach growled. It's a good sign, though, since it meant I'm starting to relax. I can't eat yet, though. It'd make a lot of noise. I decided to wait until they finished looking for me, and went away. Go away, go away. I can eat if you go away. It seemed like the intentions I was sending out bore fruit. They'd stopped looking around the building. However, I must have concentrated my thoughts too strongly. They're pointing their flashlights in my direction. Did they notice me? No. Not only that, they're walking towards me. I made my body as small as possible, hid under the blanket and listened for their footsteps as carefully as I could. All the while, I heard their footsteps coming closer and closer. Since the footsteps are coming straight towards me, they must already know where I am, I think. It's scary. But there's no way they already know where I am. If they did, they wouldn't have wasted their time looking for me around the office building, and they wouldn't walk as slowly as they did. It's just a coincidence that they're walking in this direction. Since I'm hiding under the blanket, I can't see who they are. I don't know where they're shining their flashlights, so I can't stick my head out from the window to see who they are either. I just have to stay motionless, like a rock, until I sense they're gone. Stopped when they came near my hideout. I could hear their
いね
conversation.
えだろ。
ぐるっと回ってみるが、そっちを見てくれ。
I could tell by the sound of their footsteps that they went their separate ways. And each of them were walking on piles of trash separately. I made this hideout of an abandoned car. I just redecorated it. So on the outside, it still looks nothing other than an abandoned car. Once you look inside, you can instantly tell it's more than that. So if they look inside, I'm done for. It's obvious that they're looking for me. They're Sonozaki Corps attack unit. If they find me, I'll be killed for sure. I know all too well that this place is perfect for murdering people. I killed 2 people here by myself. If I can do that, it'll be no problem for them because they're real professional killers. Even so, there's nothing I can do right now. I just have to pray they'll leave here soon. At that time, I heard a slight beeping
あっち
sound.
です。感度良好。はい。ゴグラ？はい。了解です。
どうした？
竜宮レナはゴグラらしい。目撃情報があったそうだ。
おいおい、お手上げだぜ。どうするんだよ。
とにかく是が非でも、ひっ捕まえて連れてこいって旦那の命令だ。
I just realized. Is Dena going to be the disappearance for this year?
たとえ行ったのが札幌だろうと博多だろうと追っかけるしかねえだろ。
無理だぜ。見つかるわけねえ。それでも探さなきゃなんねえのか。
旦那は竜宮レナの持つ高野美代のスクラップ帳ってのを欲しがってる。
It's confirmed. And he wants them?
あんだけの剣幕になるんだから相当のもんだろうね。
This is just confirmed.
で、俺たちはどうするんだよ。
竜宮家前に貼り付けだけ残して、他は引き上げだそうだ。戻って麦茶でも飲もうぜ。
I heard their footsteps going further, and then I didn't hear them anymore. After a while, I heard the engine of their car starting. I finally got out from under the blanket and looked outside the window. The car made a U-turn and drove away. The sound of the engine faded into the darkness. I heaved a sigh of relief. It feels like Mion... No, but that's not true. I still don't understand. The director. Unless the director still is Irie, and Irie is the one who's, like, in charge of everything. And he knew Mio's scrapbooks. I heaved a sigh of relief. I scratched all my itchy mosquito bites, wiped the sticky sweat off my face and neck, and finally allowed myself to cough. I'd heard their conversation clearly. They're the pawns of the Sonozaki Corps, without a doubt. It matches with what Oishi told me, and they said something very important. They clearly said they're after the scrapbooks. Up until now, I'd only assumed they were chasing me because I had the Mio-san scrapbooks. I could have forced myself to believe that it was just my assumption, but they said it loud and clear. We need to find Rena Ryugu. She has Mio Takano's scrapbooks. That's what they said. They also said that they're keeping watch on my house. I'm not surprised. That's exactly what I would do if I were them. I can't go back to my house anymore. It's out of the question. But in fact, they said something way more important than any of that. They said Rena Ryugu was seen in Gogura. If I was in a normal situation, I'd probably think that somebody saw a look-alike and I'd laugh out loud. That situation is different now. Mio-san was dead, but she was at the festival. I'm here, but I was in Gogura. Mio-san wrote about it in her scrapbooks, and I didn't want to believe it. They're coming closer to me, and I don't mean the Sonozaki family. Something beyond common sense is about to happen. Should I fight, or should I run? I don't even know what I should do. I feel like I'm rooted to the spot with fear. Am I about to be eaten? No. I don't want to be eaten alive. I want to run away if I can't win. I can't run. If I can't run, I want to fight. I'm gonna be happy. I know I am. I'm not gonna sit pretty and let them get me. But the enemy Mio-san foretold in the scrapbooks is coming closer to me, and it's starting to eat me up. I'm in the garbage dump alone. If I disappeared right now without anybody knowing it, the person who's in Gogura would replace me and start living my life. That was the same thing with Keiichi. It happened in chapter 2. Nobody would notice the change. My father wouldn't notice it, my friends wouldn't notice it. It would replace me without having anyone noticed it. Right. Many people close to me might have been replaced already. That's right. The Sonozaki family is plotting bioterrorism, but that's only a part of what they are planning. Mice possessed by them don't get scared of cats. As a result, they don't run away. They'll be eaten by the cats and they can move into the cats' bodies. Mice are only used by them for that purpose. It's not only that, they lose fear of cats in order to help them achieve their purpose. The same thing goes with the Sonozaki family. Once we go back all the way to chapter 2, where Mion says, the demon will have already overtaken me. Now she's convinced there's another version of her out there. Yeah. What if there is? What if she was seen in Gogura? What if Mion had this planned all along? That's exactly how they've lived since long ago, being the parasite. We're nothing but a bunch of mice to them. Most mice are stupid. They don't even notice their existence. They help them to achieve their purpose. They're thinking, living their lives by their own will. Very rarely a mouse with wits is born. This mouse notices that he's being used, and he also notices their existence. But nobody believes him, so it's not a big deal. He starts thinking that it was his mistake, and he gets swallowed by them. Eventually, he disappears. But even more rarely, a mouse appears from nowhere, notices their existence, and objectively proves it. That mouse was Mio-san. To them, this mouse was rare and a very dangerous existence. That's why they resorted to unbelievably bold and violent methods to try and eliminate that mouse when it appeared. But surprisingly, we knew about those measures. But the stupid mice didn't believe it. They don't notice that they are forcing them not to believe it, and that they're helping them in the end. They killed Mio-san. And they tried to replace her. They made a mistake. We found the real corpse of Mio-san. That's why they failed to replace her. They'll try to kill me and replace me too. Or they replace my friends in order to get close to me. They look just like the real people, but they're totally different inside. They're an abnormal existence that's beyond our imagination. I know. They'll appear. No, they're already here. It appeared the day after Mio-san died. And it appeared in Gogura tonight. They'll keep coming. They're openly after me now. They'll keep coming. They'll keep coming. Right then I heard somebody coming down the slope. I concealed my presence again. I looked at the direction where the footsteps were coming from. I could see one flashlight. Looked like there's only one person now. Who is it? This late at night. Its shadow very small. I can tell it is an adult. And she's gonna kill Keiichi. Goodbye, Keiichi. It's been nice knowing you. You're gonna die. I felt a chill running through my body. It shined the flashlight towards my hat out, and its footsteps were coming straight towards me. It's different from the other guys earlier. I can tell by the sound of the footsteps that it knows I'm hiding here for sure. No, it must be just a coincidence. I should conceal myself again. I can make it through this again. I made it through last time. I need to hide. I need to hide! I pulled the blanket over myself, made myself as small as possible, and kept telling myself that I was a stone. But the footsteps kept coming closer and closer, and it knocked on the door. My hideout. I opened my eyes wide and broke out in a nervous sweat. Not wanting to believe the sound I heard was a knock, my mind went completely blank. But it knocked on the door again. I could feel the light shining on the blanket. It might be shining the flashlight on me, but I still held back my fear. As long as I don't move, it can't put a finger on me. I kept telling myself that it was... if I was casting a spell, I tried not to shake in fear. It laughed. It laughed at me because I thought it was still hiding perfectly, but I still tried. Because if I got out of the blanket... Wait, that's Rika. Threw off the blanket and saw the owner of the voice. It is Rika-chan. Now, why is she here? Why did she come to see me? I don't understand why she came all the way here alone this late at night. I realized all of a sudden, she looks just like Rika-chan on the outside, but she's not her. It is just copying her appearance. It came to Mio-san, to me, and to Rika-chan. I decided to talk aggressively on purpose in order to work up courage before my fear crushed me down.
Rika-chan, kana? 他の誰に見えるのですか?
It answers just like the Rika-chan I know. But I know it's not Rika-chan. Rika-chan wouldn't come to a place like this so late at night.
わかるよ。Rika-chanじゃないんでしょ。おあいにくだけど、私の目はごまかせないよ。外見がRika-chanであっても。あんたはRika-chanじゃない。私の友達の古出Rikaじゃない。何者。
Rika looked stunned for a while. She looked as if she didn't understand what I was talking about, but she pretended like that for too long. If she really didn't know what I was talking about, she wouldn't be able to stand there in the silence for this long, but she kept quiet. And she finally showed her true character. It laughed. It laughed at me because I figured out something that was almost impossible to figure out. That it was not Rika.
あんた、誰？
It didn't answer my question. It kept laughing for a while, and then it looked straight into my eyes in a way Rika-chan never did before, and it said this.
私もこの世に生きて長いけど、私をリカじゃないと見破った奴は初めてよ。あなたは勘がいい人だと初対面から思ってたけど。
She clearly spoke to me, the things that I was most afraid of. I was completely shocked. It's like she told me everything that could possibly scare me. I didn't want to hear any of this. It's something I can't possibly twist in a way I can comprehend.
でもあえて、リカだと名乗っておくわ。私も、リカを自分の呼び名だと思って、かなり長いしね。
へえ、長いって、どれくらいに？
大したことはないわ。ほんの100年程度よ。
はぁ？何を言ってんのあんた？
I'm contradicting myself. I know the person who's standing in front of me isn't Rika, but at the same time I deny its existence. As long as humans hold this kind of emotion, they can never accept unknown existences. In other words, we can never accept them.
怯えなくていいわ。あなたは社内、私は社外。互いに、相手に物騒なことをするのは簡単じゃない。お互いに、都合のいい距離だと思うけど、私が何百年生きていようとも。フルでリカは、所詮、小さな子供だもの。あなたに腕力で勝てると思ってないわ。むしろ、逆上したあなたに飛びかかられないか。不安なのはこっちの方なんだから。
I realized that this creepy thing that looks like Rika was only here to talk to me. Felt my tension fade away a little. But still, I don't know what she wants to talk to me about in a place like this so late at night. Like a fish on a cutting board. There's nothing I can do other than to wait and see what's gonna happen. I waited for it to make a move, and then it opened its mouth again.
あなたは何かに怯えている。それは正解。
It uses sarcasm. Rika-chan's cute face looked uglier than ever when it smiled. I held back my fear and tried to reply firmly.
ええ、おかげさまで。
そう。何に怯えているの？
あんたらが、一番よくわかっているくせに。
It told me earlier that we were safe from each other because one was in the car and the other was standing outside. But it's obvious that I'm the one who's being driven into a corner. While I'm talking to it, I could be surrounded by its minions. I got scared and tried to listen to the sounds of my surroundings carefully.
怖がらないで、私は。あなたを助けに来たんだから。
助けに？へえ、どうやってかな？
あなたはね、ちょっとしたお薬で楽になるのよ。私はその薬を持ってきたと言ったら、関心がある。
薬？
It put its hand in the pocket and took out a small case. It opened the case and showed me what was inside. What was in there made me gasp in surprise.
注射器!
It's not normal for a person to carry around a syringe. I have no idea what's going on. What Rika-chan is holding in her hand is a syringe. There's no way I can twist that fact around.
そう、あなたを楽にしてくれる注射よ。
楽になれるって？私には分かってる。富武さんを殺した薬物の正体は、原子の力を持った寄生虫、宇脇病を再現させる恐ろしい注射。
富武の注射はね。でも、これは違うわよ。本当よ。
It giggled. It isn't giggling that scares me. I'm scared that it admitted the cause of Tomitake-san's death so easily, and it also admitted the direct cause of the maggot disease that Tomitake-san died from.
私にも、あの死に方をさせるつもりなんでしょ。そして、ゴグラに現れたレナが私に入れ替わって、一件落着。そういう魂胆なんでしょ？誰がそんな注射をするもんか！
まあ、嫌がるとは思った。明らかに怪しいしね。
わかってるじゃないの。ならどうするの？富武さんみたいに集団で襲って無理やり注射でもするの？
Tomitake-san's autopsy report said that he had bruises on his body that proved he was fighting against several people right before he died. That means he must have ganged up on him to give him the shot at his own will.
無理に襲って注射したいけど、あまりうまくいった試しはないわね。だから、無理やりってのはもう諦めてるわ。だから、あなたの自由意志に任せることにする。
ふざけないで！そんな薄気味悪い注射、誰が使うものか！
私もそのあたりは悩んだわ。
The scene with Rika was not in the anime? Really?
どうなだめすかせば、あなたに注射できるかをね。強引にも無理だし、理解も得られないし、なら結局、私はあなたの判断に任せるほかないってこと。
そんなのは聞くまでもない。誰がそんな見えすいた罠にかかるか！
ま、想定通りの反応よ。どうせ期待してなかったし。
It heaved a sigh, made a gesture as if it's mocking me and smiled bitterly. It looked like it, as if it was saying that I'm a lower animal that can't understand it's being given a chance for salvation. I kind of wanted to say I'll take the shot on a dare, but I knew that's exactly what it is intending to
とっ
do.
とと帰って、お前の仲間に注射には失敗したと伝えるがいい！私は負けない。最後まで、徹底的に抗ってやる！そして、1% にも満たないかもしれない勝機を掴んで、必ずや、貴様らを撃ち滅ぼしてやるから！
そう。ならばせいぜい頑張りなさいな。どうせもうすぐ滅ぶ世界だしね。
滅ぶ？
あなたには関係のないことよ。井戸の中のカエルが、井戸の外なんかに興味を持っても仕方ないでしょ。
At this stage of the game, it said something very dubious. I tried hard to understand what this horrifying creature was trying to say.
私をこれからどうするつもりなの？
私はどうもしないわ。好きにすればいい。
It's almost too easy. As far as I know, do whatever you want means ignorance or release when your enemy says it to you. At the very least, it isn't a bad thing, or does it have another meaning? That way, I overinterpreted the meaning of the sentence, but then it said it
あ
again.
なたの好きなように過ごせばいい。この、リュウグウレナにはもう興味ない。次のリュウグウレナと、うまくやれるようにするわ。
The next world. Or the next reset. In chapter 7.
せめて、次のリュウグウレナは、変に勘が良くないことを祈るだけよ。
I was so scared of it, like I'd be a judge of handing down a death sentence.
私も昔は、小さな狂いが生じるたびに直そうと奔走したものだけど、途中からね、このひなみ沢にもう興味ない。次のひなみ沢を探しに行くことにするわ。でも、あなたには、このひなみ沢しかない。だから、せいぜい頑張って行きなさいな。
It was telling me scary things one after the other. This was obviously a warning of Hinamizawa's destruction. It meant the climax is coming soon. They have already prepared another Rena. When I lost to this fate, they are going to replace me with that Rena as if nothing happened. They're very well organized. What humans are most afraid of for their lives to lose all value. Your life becomes worthless when you're told you have a replacement. It's like an indirect death sentence. It closed the syringe case and put it back into its pocket. It turned around and started climbing up the slope. At the top, it looked back and spoke without much as an evil smile.
じゃあね、さよなら。このリュウグウレナ。次のリュウグウレナでは仲良くしてね。ほとんどの場合は仲良くできてるんだから。
次のリュウグウレナなど許すものか！私は私だ！たった一人だ！お前らの思い通りにはならない！絶対に！絶対に！
I wondered if my scream was reaching it. It looked at me coldly. It looked at me as if I was just an image of the past on a TV
たま
screen.
にはこういう会話も面白いか。
That laughter gradually disappeared into the darkness. It disappeared into the darkness as well. I was the only one left there. I'm forsaken and they don't care if I disappear. They told me I should struggle as much as I want because it doesn't matter anyway. They already have a replacement. They don't need their Hinamizawa anymore because my intuition is too sharp. When I realized that, I noticed that this garbage dump is a perfect grave for me. Then I realized that this place wouldn't work as a hideout anymore. I'd better start packing up and move somewhere else. I didn't expect... When she says that Rika has lived for 100 years, I don't think that's 100 years, like, consecutively. I mean, maybe, depending on how you look at it is, but I think it's just 100 versions of Hinamizawa. For some reason, the town always dies, or for some reason, like, and when we enter a new chapter, we're just entering another world, or another point of view, when the world resets, for some reason. But, that's what I have so far. It told me to struggle as much as I want. I'm gonna do just that, damn it. I have to get ready to move from here. I'm gonna put everything back into my backpack and I have to leave here as soon as possible. The light of the flashlight wasn't enough to see by, so I turned the table lamp on. The light made things show up very clearly. When I reached my backpack, I realized something and gasped in surprise. The palm of my hand was covered with an eerie liquid. I thought I'd wiped off my sticky sweat earlier, but it wasn't my sweat. Then where did this blood come from? I realized it right away. I was scratching the mosquito bites on my neck earlier, and I scratched them until it bled. When I noticed that, I remember the sensation, the mixture of pain and itchiness. I felt something moving near the wound on my neck, so I scratched again to get rid of whatever it was. My hand got sticky and wet with blood again. I can't see what the things are because I don't have a mirror, but I know. They're already spreading throughout my entire body, causing the itchiness on my arms and the back of my knees. I've never experienced this before. I think I got bitten by a bad bug or something, but unfortunately, I already know what's causing this itchiness. I said it with hatred. Why now? Why here? It's the maggot disease, without a doubt. If I cut the veins on my arms, the dusky red gross things would flow out. But it's impossible. I didn't get any suspicious shots, but it doesn't have to be a shot. They might have put the drug in my food and I might have eaten it without noticing. I don't think they put the food at my house, but I used to share lunch with my friends at school. They might have put it in the lunches. That Rika who visited me just earlier was shining the flashlight on me, so she knew I was scratching my neck so hard it bled. Nevertheless, she acted like there was nothing wrong and she told me that I wouldn't last long. Now I knew why she was laughing at me in a sarcastic way. She knew that I wouldn't have much time left. It itches very badly, but I can't scratch. The more I scratch, the itchier it gets, and I'm not gonna do the same thing Tomitake-san did. Damn it, damn it, damn it! The itchiness might not be temporary. It might actually get worse. I don't know if it's gonna stop soon or last until I die from it. I don't know if anything anymore. I just have to endure the itchiness. I wiped the blood on my neck with a towel, clenched my teeth and tried to erase the desire to scratch my neck. The wound was throbbing. I wanted to scratch it so badly, but I couldn't do that. I fought back the desire, biting the end of the towel. I scratched the other parts of my body really hard in order to forget about the itchiness on my neck, but it didn't really work. I just prayed for the itchiness to go away, closed my eyes and fought back the desire. That seemed to be the best way. I let my mind go blank, breathing hard for a while. I felt like the itchiness got a little bit better. I took a deep breath and immediately started panicking. Staying here is more dangerous than the itchiness. I have to leave here as soon as possible. I felt it while packing my stuff. I felt the end coming closer. The end that Rika told me about earlier. I assumed I could have lived until the end, but I might have been wrong. I might have followed the same path that Tomitake-san took. Way before the end comes, I was sweating like crazy and it felt so nasty. I know it's not sweat, but I'm gonna think it's sweat for now. I wiped my neck with a towel and hurried to leave. Wow. This area has no street lights, so I was scared to run fast when I could barely see. Oh wait, no, this is Oishi. This area has no street lights, so I was scared to run fast when I could barely see. The moon lit up the sky, but not my steps. I think that's Oishi. I can't tell if that's white or blue. I guess it's Keiichi. The light was very weak. All I could see was the flat gravel road below me. Anything the flashlight could reach was in total darkness. The expression often used in novels, pitch black, wouldn't be inappropriate. I might trip over an empty can or rock anytime. Not wanting to fall, I used the flashlight to its maximum extent to watch my step. But I was still a bit nervous. I started running slower and slower until I was just walking briskly. Did I just stop running because I'm afraid of tripping in the dark? but I usually run it around without watching my step during the day. I run around with Rena, and Mion all the time. Okay, yeah, so it is Keiichi. Even if I can't see what's underfoot, I don't pay any attention. I don't think I might trip, I just keep running around without a care. Rena might be feeling the same way I am right now. For Rena, the light which she illuminates, the darkness of suspicion, is too weak. And the darkness of the delusion she deeply believes in is getting darker and darker. That's why she's scared to even walk on the same road she always used to take. She fell for the contents of those ridiculous scrapbooks. People might laugh at her for that. But those scrapbooks aren't normal. They manipulate their readers' hearts and with evil intent take advantage of their vulnerabilities. That evil intent captured my heart for one night. That's why I know how evil they are. They're just urban legends, like the prophecies of Nostradamus or the Purple Mirror. They're a bunch of feasible lies, and when you hear about them at first, you think they're too stupid to believe. But once you fall for them, it's hard to get them out of your mind for some reason. It'll be the year 1999, and yes, then 20 years. Everyone knows about the prophecy that the world will come to an end in July of 1999. There are even some TV shows about it too, which irresponsibly fan people's fears. So some people take it seriously. Those people think that the prophecy means the outbreak of nuclear war, so some of them are making shelters in their backyards. Some of them think about freezing themselves by 1999 so that they won't be exposed to radiation, only waking up after it's gone. These people are completely serious about it. When you think about it rationally, it's impossible that there will be an outbreak of nuclear war in 1999. It's true that the Cold War makes us think that the final war will break out any time, but both powers are actually pointing their nuclear missiles at each other, and they know that there's nothing to gain for either of them to start a nuclear war. The Soviets might still do it. The Soviets would destroy the world if it meant eradicating liberalism, but that delusion that the Soviets might do it could be neatly swapped for the way Takano-san uses the Sonozaki family in her scrapbooks. When people create a large-scale delusion like the prophecies above, they always use an incomprehensibly unknown enemy such as the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, or aliens. And they say something like, you never know, they might do things like that to try and increase the credibility of their delusions without any evidence whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, definitely it's like people had prophecies with the world ending, right? And, you know, the Cold War happening and everything, I think it's very easy to get swept up in that. What did Takano-san know about the Sonozaki family? But to be honest, even since then, people have been predicting end of the world for forever. Like, when the Mayan calendar ended in 2012, right? That's when people thought it was going to end. And there was even a movie about that. And there was something else as well when the world was going to end. There's like one other day. I can't remember. But it's like, people have been saying stuff for forever. Yeah, exactly. 2012, exactly. That's exactly it. What did Takano-san know about the Sonozaki family? Okay. Times when people thought the world would end. Let's see, like, what is there? Okay. If I'm wrong, then I'll simply say the next day instead. Exactly. Yeah, look. Like, all these dates, they were predicted that the days would end. What about the, like, recent times? Okay, yeah. 2012. Rasputin said that the world was going to end 2013. Blood Moon Prophecy, 2014 to 2015. September to October 2017. 2018, 2019, 2020. Because I'm like 2021. 2020 people probably thought because of COVID. And then what is this? 2025. So, like, yeah. You know the day it does happen, it's going to be tragic because people won't believe it. I would imagine that the day it does end, you probably won't realize it that it has ended. You know? Like, maybe the world, like, blows up or something. And it just happens in an instant. Nothing. All she did was use the history of Onigafuchi and say that the Sonozaki family is still working behind the scenes, plotting a horrifying conspiracy. It's just like one of those large-scale prophecies. It's nothing but a stupid story like one about Nazi Germany, which says that Hitler is still alive and lives in an underground complex somewhere on the South Pole, continuing his plot to conquer the world. Rena usually doesn't believe in stupid stories like that, but it was just bad timing, I suppose. It was right after she killed Rina Mamiya and Teppei Hojo, and was caught by us. She was in a state of panic when she heard the story. We were waiting for her to recover from the shock, but before she did and regained her strength of heart, a poison got into her and spread throughout her body. When you're sick and have a weakened immune system, it's easy to get another disease, just like that. That's it. Rena is just sick right now. That's the same conspiracy about Epstein being alive. Yeah, but in Hitler's case, it's kind of true because after the war, a lot of people fled to a lot of Nazi generals fled to Argentina. So like at least with the Hitler thing, that kind of makes a bit more sense. You're very sick in bed with the high fever. You sometimes feel like you might die from it. But most of the time, you're just overreacting. You get better soon after you take a medicine, eat healthy food, and sleep a lot. Humans tend to drift to the same place. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, it's the same thing with people say history repeats itself. It's because people don't learn. It doesn't matter how many times an event is going to happen. People will still make the same decisions, and it'll lead to the same outcomes. It's like we're just in a cycle right now. It's like, it's the same thing with everything. Doesn't matter how advanced we get with technology or like whatever, history will repeat itself in just a different form but same shape, you know. That's how she is right now. She caught the mental cold, that's all. She needs to get better soon or she might be caught by the police. I passed by several patrol cars on my way. I had every time I saw one since I didn't want to be questioned. I was probably passed by them twice. When I came close to Rena's house, I saw a car parked near the gate. It was obviously watching our house, trying to capture her when she'd arrive home. Mion ordered the Sonozaki family to find Rena to protect her from the police, but honestly, I'm not sure if they can. After all, Rena believes that the Sonozaki family is after her. But if they don't find her, the police will eventually. If that happens, all of us who helped her bury the corpse will be caught by the police in the end. I don't know how or why the police came to suspect her. I think they only have some circumstantial evidence. I don't think they know she did it for sure. But since they're looking for everywhere for her right now, they must have some kind of reliable evidence. And come on! You don't have time to play around with Takano-san's scrapbooks right now! The police are after you! It was so dark that I couldn't be sure if she was down there, but I made up my mind and headed down the slope, carefully shining my flashlight to light my way. I wanted to loudly call Rena's name, but there might be some policemen nearby looking for her. I walked around the trash pile, and then I saw a light. It was Rena. I ran towards her hideout, knocking aside the trash in my way. Rena was standing right in front of her hideout, holding a hatchet. I couldn't blame her. She must have noticed all the noise I had made coming down the slope.
レナ、俺だ。
今度は圭一くん今夜はいろんな人が来る夜だね。
俺以外にも誰かいるのか？
I showed my flashlight around, but I didn't see anybody else.
この場所はもう安全じゃないんで、今から場所を変えるところなの。圭一くんにも知られたくないから、ついてこないで。
レナ、お前、どうしたんだよ。血だらけじゃないか。
もう落ち着いたから大丈夫だよ。もっとも、いつぶり返すかわからないけどね。
Oh, her eyes went back to normal. Then his neck was all red. It looked like she had some kind of skin disease on her neck. She probably couldn't bear the itchiness and scratched at it really
タオルで拭
hard.
いただけじゃダメだろ。とりあえず家へ来いよ。ちゃんと消毒した方がいいぞ。
傷口は大したことないよ。それに、これは傷によるものじゃない。もう手遅れだし。
手遅れ？どういうことだよ。
富武さんを死に導いた何かを、私もいつの間にか服毒させられてるみたいなの。注射なんて物騒な方法じゃない。多分それは、弁当のおかずに混ぜられてたの。覚えてる？先日、みーちゃんが卵焼きを一人一個ずつ分けてくれたよね。あの時にやられたんだと思う。遅効性なところがうまいよね。くそ！
Then I kicked the dirt with hatred. She was almost literally kicking Mion's goodwill to the curb.
おい、レナ。お前、本気でミオンがそんなことすると思ってるのか？
Then looked stunned and she stared straight at me. I noticed a slight accusation in her eyes. I could tell by looking into her eyes that she wants to say, "What are you talking about? I already told you that the Sonozaki family is the mastermind behind the
第
conspiracy."
一よ、あの日の卵焼き、ミオンは一人に一つずつなんか分けてないだろ。
Mion cut her omelet into 5 pieces and she told us to take one if we wanted. Then I took the end piece of the omelet before anyone else took one. She said it looked cute and ate it right there.
違うよ。みーちゃんは、毒が入ってた卵焼きを私にわざと食べさせようとしたんだよ。
レナ、都合よく記憶を書き換えるなよ。タッパーの蓋の上に、こう、ちょんちょんと5つ並べたんじゃないか。
並べてないよ。一人に一つずつ配った。
そんなこと、今までにあったか？俺たちは、 互いの弁当箱を好きにつつくバイキング形式だぜ。これは誰の分なんて、お上品に分けっこしたことなんて、一度もねえじゃねえか。
She looked at me with that accusation in her eyes. To Rena, everything that comes out of my mouth must sound like a lie. To her, it's a fact that she was poisoned. She knows for sure that her drug wasn't the omelet. That's why she's contradicting me, because I'm saying something different. I didn't come here to make her mad. I realized that disagreeing would only escalate her anger, so I decided
それ
not
より
to.
さ、ここはもう安全な場所じゃないって、どこへ行くつもりだよ。
さあね。適当に探すよ。
寝るところなんて、そうそう見つからねえだろ。俺の家に来いよ。
ありがたいけど、辞退するね。園崎家の手先が村中を探し回ってる。圭一くんが裏切って、私を売るとは思いたくないけど。
園崎家の手先が探し回ってるってのは、警察がレナを探し回ってるんだ。
なんで？大石さんは味方だし、私のことは放っておくように言ってある。私を探すなんてありえないよ。
多分、リナと鉄平を殺したことが、どこかで漏れたんじゃないかと思う。
ああ、そういうことか。
I was relieved that we were finally on the same page, but I realized I was wrong right away when she laughed in self-derision. Derision?
どうして警察があの殺しのことを感づいたかわかる？
いや、わかるわけないだろう。
Nobody saw her killing them. Nobody saw us burying the corpses. We buried them deep in the mountains, and we camouflaged the spot perfectly. Plus, Mia moved them to a safe place afterwards, so it's impossible that the corpses would be found.
今日の夕方ね、私、あの二人の死体を埋めた場所に戻ったの。そしたら、
That didn't sound good. Of course, then I had no idea that Mion took care of the corpses. She'd think the corpses were still buried there.
なかったの。死体が。誰かが掘り返して死体を持ち去った。
いや、レナ、それ、
あんな場所、誰かが偶然掘り返すわけもない。それに、あの場所は私が決めた。だからあの場所に埋まっていることは、あの場に居合わせた人間しか知らない。
そうだ。だからそれは。
誰がやったかは分かってる。みーちゃんだよ。私が警察と結託することがないよう、保険が欲しかったに違いない。園崎家に探させるだけじゃなく、連中もなりふり構ってられないってことか。
ミオンがそんなことするわけねえだろ。
したんだよ。みーちゃんが私を売った。
いや、しねえな。ミオンも俺たちも、みんな仲間だぞ。たとえ世界が全部敵になったとしたって、仲間は最後まで味方なんだ。
Oh, you don't say that to the
だから
cocaine.
ミオンがレナを売ることなんて、海水が全部蒸発するような天変地異があったって。
みーちゃんの肩をどうして持つの？
逆だろ。なんでミオンをそこまで疑うんだよ。
そんなのは決まってるでしょ。ミオさんの暴いた致命的な事実は、狂信。
黙れ黙れ。ちょっと言葉がきつかったな。いいか。あの死体がなくなっていたのは、確かにミオンが掘り返したからだ。
やっぱりそうじゃない。
終わりまで聞けよ。いいか。ミオンが死体を掘り返したのは、あの埋めた場所が安全じゃないことが分かったからなんだ。営林署がこの夏、あの辺り一帯を伐採するって計画を立ててたことが、後に分かったんだよ。だからミオンは、レナを守るために、死体を掘り返してくれたんだよ。
Then I laughed at me like I was stupid or something. I could tell she didn't understand anything I was saying.
そんなの、みーちゃんの口から出まかせに決まってるでしょ。圭一くんの前ではいいこぶりたい。あの子の汚いやり方だって。
じゃあどうすりゃよかったんだよ。今年の夏に、営林署が見つけちまうかもしれないと知ってて、放置しとくのかよ。そんなことできるわけねえだろ。
その営林署の伐採計画というのが、そもそもみーちゃんの作り話だって、どうしてわからないのかな。
わからねえのはレナの方だろ。
After I yelled at her, she gave me an icy look. She stared into my eyes, as if trying to find out what I came here
俺
for.
は、レナの目を覚ましに来たんだ。お前は高野さんのスクラップ帳のせいで、とんでもない狂った夢に取り憑かれてる。最初のうちは面白い話だと思ってたが、そろそろシャレにならないと思い始めた。お前は今、ちょっとした病気なんだよ。
ああ。理科もどきにも病気だって言われたっけね。確かに。宇治脇病はもう始まってるし。
もう違うんだとにかく俺の話を聞け。しばらくの間、横になってじっくりと休まねえか。本当は、ミオンの家にかくまってもらった方が安全なんだ。警察からもかくまえるしな。でも、それでもミオンが信用できないってんなら、俺の家でもいい。とにかく、こんな休めない場所で縮こまってだって、心にいいわけがないんだ。まずは俺の家に行こう。そして冷たい飲み物でも飲みながら、ちょいと熱を冷ましてみないか。そうすりゃ、レナもすぐに気づくさ。
何を言ってるのケイチ君。私がおかしくなってるって言いたいの？おかしいのはお前たちの方なんだ。お前たちは寄生虫に乗っ取られて、知らず知らずのうちに奴らに操られているだけ。ケイチ君も傍観者のつもりでいるけど、実は被害者の一人なんだよ。それに気づけないのが、それを私は責めない。私がきっとケイチ君たちを救ってあげるから。今は私を信じていて。
I wish, like, I'm not saying anything, but like, I don't know what to say. Like, this just,
おかしいのはお前たちの方って。じゃあ、レナは、村が丸ごとおかしくて、自分だけが正しいって言うのかよ。
ひなみ沢だけじゃないかもしれないね。もはや奴らの魔種は、獅子骨市全域、あるいは県内全域にまで及んでいるかもしれない。でも、私だけは正しいの。
Dude, I can't even imagine being in, like, Keiichi's position. Yeah, it does.
ミオさんのスクラップのおかげで、それに気づけた。ケイチ君だって気づけたんじゃなかったっけ？
待てよ、レナ。自分以外、世界中が全ておかしいって。おかしいのは、自分だけなんだよ。世界は最初から何も変わってねえし、おかしくもなんともない。ましてや、レナの敵でもなんでもない。自分だけが正しくて、世界が全部敵なんてことは、ありえないんだよ。それはつまり、自分だけが敵ってことなんだよ。
かわいそうなケイチ君。でも仕方がないよ。ミオさんの真実は、誰もが受け入れられるものではない。ミオさん自身、この内容が本当に真実か。だからケイチ君が受け入れられないことを、私は理解できる。だから、そんなケイチ君を救うために、私は頑張るよ。頑張って戦って。必ず、ケイチ君たちを支配している奴らをやっつけてやるから。
Yeah. I think he's, like, knowing Keiichi's personality, he is being very, very calm right now. Like, I mean, you could even see him, like, holding himself back a bit. Like, it's, very, very commendable by him. And that's stupid. That's just idiotic. You feel sorry for me? You're stupid. Why don't you understand? Why do you still believe a crazy, stupid story like this? You're just interpreting everything to suit your
ミオ
convenience.
さんもリカちゃんも。そして今や私も。そして、私が消されるのと同時に入れ替わることになっている。
はぁ？スペア？お前、本気で何を言ってるんだ？
もういいや。ケイチ君には真実を教えてあげよう。私がケイチ君に話してない。実はね、寄生虫の正体は、宇宙人なの。
宇宙人？
うん。お社様の正体も、もちろん宇宙人。天から降臨する際の描写は、世界各地に散らばる宇宙人説と合致するの。偉大な文明が起こるとき、偉人は必ず宇宙から現れる。彼らは、宇宙から優れた英知を持って地球を訪れ、いつまでも未熟な地球人
Hey,
類の進
wait
化を
just a
促
minute.
そう。
You must be kidding, right, Rena? The parasite theory was interesting. But aliens? Come on, that's just nonsense. But Rena believes this theory so seriously, and she feels sorry for me because I can't accept it.
奴らは人体規制を通じて、コミュニティを支配してきた。だが時折勘のいい人間が生まれ、その支配の実態を暴こうとした。彼らはそれを取り除き、コミュニティを維持するために様々な拉致を行ったの。そして、時には金属片を埋め込みそのコントロールを得たり、あるいは外見だけを共有した別の存在と入れ替えることによって支配を続け。そいつらは、ミオさんのコピーを生み、私のコピーを生んだ。リカちゃんのコピーもさっき来たんだよ。そいつと話をしてみた。そいつは、宇宙から来た存在であることを認めたよ。そして、 破滅の日が近いことを告白し、私にあがけるものならあがけと嘲笑った。私は戦うよ。人類を、奴らの家畜になどしてたまるか。私は、絶対に、絶対に。
You're so stupid! I stepped towards her and I slapped her in the face. I was hoping it would return her to sanity.
目を覚ませレナ、もう忘れたか。まさにこの場所だ。それも、ほんの数日前だ。俺たち仲間たちは、この場所で、全員で手を取り合ったよな。そして、仲間は家族同然だって、認め合ったよな。
And I played with her wrist. She didn't interrupt, so I continued.
お前の言う、宇宙人が地球を侵略してるって話を、たとえ世界中が信じなくても、俺は信じてやる。俺はお前の仲間で、一番最初の味方だからだ。でもな、ならお前も聞いてくれ。仲間で、味方の俺の言葉を聞いてくれ。あの高野さんのスクラップ帳は、でっち上げのインチキなんだよ。本当さ、高野さんはオカルトマニアなんだ。ひなみ沢の古い歴史を、いろいろに解釈して遊んで、陳説を書き上げては、人に読ませて回ってるだけなんだ。だから、寄生虫がどうのこうのという説以外にも、UFO がどうこうとか、地底人がどうこうなんていうとんでもないのまでたくさんあるんだ。だから、レナが読んだスクラップ帳は、高野さん自慢の最新作でしかないんだよ。ほら、あの人って、人をからかうみたいなところがあるだろう。レナが真面目に話を聞いてくれるもんだから、面白がって、とんでもない話を吹き込んだだけなんだよ。
単なる創作なら、ミオさんはどうして殺されたの？しかも、検視結果では死後24時間のはずなのに、どうして祭りの夜に歩いていたの？富武さんの死因は？園崎家は？ひなみ沢の伝説は？お社様は？リカちゃんは？全部創作？世界中が私たちを騙すために嘘をついているって、そういうの？
何でもかんでも無理に繋げて解釈するな。古代妄想の典型的な症例じゃねえかよ。とにかく難しく考えるな。レナはちょっと疲れてるだけなんだ。だから少し休もう。俺はレナにくつろげる部屋と布団、食事を提供するだけだ。食事が信用できないなら自前で好きにしてくれたっていい。とにかく俺の言うことを今だけでいいから信じてほしいんだ。
私の言っている話の方が筋も通っているし、証拠も根拠もたくさんある。なのに圭一君は自分を信じてくれの一点張り。どっちが正しいかなんて明白でしょ？
ああ、明白だな。俺だ。俺が正しい。
よくそんなことを言い切れるね。
ああ、そんなのは簡単さ。俺がレナの仲間だからだ。仲間は絶対に裏切らない。仲間を絶対に助ける。だから、世界中が俺を正しくないと言っても、今だけは俺を信じろ。俺が、お前の仲間だからなんだ。
Heard a thud. Then I dropped the hatchet. She staggered, holding her head in her hands. She was muttering something. It looked like she was asking herself questions. He wants me to trust him, but he has no evidence to prove he's right. He's being absurd. Maybe he's right and I'm wrong. Am I really just misunderstanding everything? It would be wonderful if that was true. I wished I was wrong so many times. I wish Mio-san's scrapbooks are nothing but a bunch of stories and the parasite didn't exist. Some coincidence happened to connect together, and I interpreted them in the wrong way. I really wish that was the case. Don't give up, Renaryugu. Be cool, Renaryugu. This guy's poison in his words. He's trying to take advantage of my weakness. Everything is too obvious not to believe. It's obvious that the aliens have been trying to invade Earth, just using this village as their base ever since it was called Onigafuchi. Keiichi-kun is a victim who's being controlled by them. He's just a victim. But when he grabbed my wrist really hard on that day, I could tell his intentions were true. I still remember the strength of his grip on my wrist. He tried to save me. His friend. I got lost in this crazy delusional maze many times. I prayed over and over that somebody would help me. And now my prayers are answered, and Keiichi-kun is reaching for my hand again. But don't forget, Renaryugu. This guy says he's your friend. He hasn't told you everything about himself. Don't you remember? Oishi-san told you about it. He told me what he found out. I couldn't trust my friends, so Oishi checked on everybody, including Keiichi-kun. That's why I know about what he did before he moved here. He looks like he's a good guy on the outside, but he's crazy on the inside. I can't trust him. I shouldn't trust him. What he did before coming here? We don't know anything about this. So what? I don't care about who he was before he moved here. I did many bad things in Ibaraki too. I did many unforgivable things. I hurt my friends really badly, broke the windows at school, and was suspended. I was a very bad girl. Did he treat me differently because of that? No, he didn't. Then yeah, all we heard about was his studying. Exactly, that was the only thing. But we don't really know anything about that. Like anything else. Ryugu is Ryugu. You forgive me because of Ryugu who did all those bad things in Ibaraki. He won't forgive me. I should know better. Keiichimara believes that I'm a kind and modest girl because he doesn't know Reina. If he found out about Reina, what would he do? He wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't be scared of me. Reina is Reina. Reina is a different girl. The same goes with Keiichi-kun. I don't care who he was before he moved here. We're even.
大丈夫かレナ。
触るな。汚らわしい。
Reina knocked my hand aside when I reached for her.
さっきから聞いていれば仲間とやかましい。仲間だから信じろ？仲間だから世界中すべてより正しいだと？それこそ妄言じゃないか。
なんと言われたって、俺はお前の仲間だ。だから、絶対にお前のためになることを言って疑うな。絶対に俺が正しい。
へえ、じゃあ聞いてもいい？
あ、何でも聞け。
仲間ってのは、隠し事なんてないんだよね。
当然だ。隠し事なんかしない。
嘘だよ。
嘘なんかつかない。
嘘だ
何がおかしいよ。
圭一くん、隠し通せてるつもりなんだ。私、知ってるんだよ。圭一くんが引っ越してくる直前にどういうことしてたか。知ってるんだよ。
I felt as if my entire body was covered in frosty needles. My body and mind froze all of a sudden. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. How come she knows about that?
大石さんに調べてもらったんだよ。みんなのこと。そしたら圭一くん、引っ越しの前はとんでもない人だったんだよね。
やめろ。あれは、違うんだ。
ずいぶん悪いことしてたみたいだね。さとこちゃんとリカちゃんにも話しておかないとね。こんな危ない人が身近にいたなんて、信じられないよ。
違う。それは、たまたまなんだ。
児童連続襲撃事件。すごい。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件に負けないくらいインパクトあるよ。
違うんだよ。あれは。
何がどう違うの？数週間の間に、人気のないところを歩く小さな子供ばかりを狙って、通りがかりにモデルガンで打ちつける恐ろしい事件だった。市内一帯は一時期騒然。PTA が交差点ごとに立ち、集団下校にもなったんだってね。目に当たって大怪我した子もいたんでしょ？幸い、後遺症にはならなかったそうだけど。モデルガンなんて武器を持ちながら、それでも小さな子しか狙わないいやらしさ。そんなことして何が楽しかったの？でも、楽しかったからずっと続けてたんだよね。そのくせ、途中で両親の呵責に耐えられなくなって、ご両親と一緒に自首。責任取るのもご両親と一緒じゃないとダメなわけ？少年法って親切よね。被害者にも犯人の名前は公開されないし。お父さんが大金持ちだったから示談金をたくさん積んでくれたんだよね。それで大ごとにしない約束を取り付けて、まったりとしばらくは保護観察。それでほとぼりが冷めた頃合いに、お金に任せて遠方へ引っ越しして全部チャラ。いいね、お金持ちは。
違うんだ。
そんなこと、どうして今まで黙ってたの？前の学校ではずっと勉強漬けだった？どうしてそんな嘘をつくの？
ごめん、嘘ってわけじゃ。
仲間ってのは隠し事なんかなしでしょ？そうでしょ？ じゃあお前は仲間じゃない。
The blades of her words hit hard and they made my eyes bleed. The blood was clear and it tasted salty.
私も過去の事件からお前が怪しいと思ってる。それを隠しきれてると思わないで。
I remember how deeply I regretted it. I couldn't regret it enough. I wanted to forget it, but I couldn't. I made a stupid mistake. Why? Why does she have to bring it up right now? I apologized and accepted everything. And I moved here to put it behind me. I wanted to have a fresh start in Hinamizawa. I swore myself to live a clean life from then on. Everything is ruined now. I'll be criminal, no matter where I go. I was stressed out with my exam studies. I was frustrated. I randomly shot people. I didn't care if it was girls or kids. Oh, why did I do something so stupid? There's no reason. I had no reason to do that. I just wanted to get someone's attention. I didn't have the courage to tell my parents that I didn't want to study. I just wanted someone to scold me, so I used a childish way to get attention. I regret what I did. I swear I'll never do something that's stupid again. If I do it again, they can send me to the chair. If there was something I could do to be completely forgiven, I'd do it. No matter what it was. But no matter how deeply I regret it, and no matter how long I atone for my sin, I'll never be forgiven. That's why I wanted to sweep the whole thing under the carpet and have a fresh start. I have nothing to say if somebody tells me that forgetting my sin is an act of cowardice. Sins are sins. You can't just get rid of them. You have to carry them for the rest of your life. I know that's the fate of a sinner. If you don't want to live like that, don't be a sinner. I understand that logic too. But then, how are sinners supposed to live?
とにかく、お前は仲間じゃない。仲間じゃない奴の指図は、受ける言われはない。私のことは当分放っておいてもらう。いいね。
I didn't notice until she spoke that I was on my knees, hanging my head. Then I picked up the hatchet she dropped earlier. I wanted her to hit my head with it. Yeah, that's right. If anything's gonna be torn apart, I'd rather it be my body. Compared to the pain of my heart being torn to shreds, I'd rather she cut my head off. I believed it. I still believe it. I still believe it right at this moment. I believe that I'm their friend. But in fact, I'm starting to become aware. The prologue of chapter 1? Really? That means then I should be killing him right now. And he would be saying that this is his first love. I want to believe I am their friend because I don't want to accept my past. I'm trying to tell myself that, but I feel stupid crying like this. My face is all messy with tears. I was never their friend. I am a sinner, and I hid my past from them. I hid it because I was scared. I told her that friends don't hide anything from another, and I hid my past from them. I hid my sin from them. My past has nothing to do with how I live my life here. If I ever attacked a kid in this village just because I was frustrated, I wouldn't mind if they killed me and cut me into pieces. But I'll never do anything like that again. I just wanted to live normally. What I did before I moved here has nothing to do with my life now. For instance, Lena moved here too. I wouldn't change the way I see her. Even if I found out she did something bad before she moved here, right? I wouldn't. Would I? Even if Lena beat some of her friends or broke all the windows of her school, I wouldn't care because it happened in Ibaraki. She didn't do that in Hinamizawa. Lena is Lena. She's my best friend. That's why I wouldn't see her differently, even if I found out about her past. But that is a lie. That's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. I'd keep a distance from her if I found out that she really did such things, which you did. I'd be scared of her. I wouldn't try to listen to her. Why? It's just a rumor. Why would I be scared of her? She's my best friend. If I was in her situation, would I reject her just like she did? So Rena's rejection of me was completely natural. So yes, this does parallel chapter 1. Yes, this is confirming that this does parallel chapter 1, because I was thinking there were a lot of similarities between it, but it was Rena isolating herself rather than Keiichi isolating himself. But they did it in different ways. So Rena's rejection of me was completely natural. Then what am I supposed to do? I was the only one crying. Rena wasn't crying. She looked at me as if she was looking at something dirty. After giving me a nasty look, she disappeared into the darkness. Rena didn't forgive me. There was nothing I could do to atone for my sin, but to keep crying, still down on my knees. Damn. Damn. The reason we moved to Hinamizawa. What do you think of Keiichi's sin? Okay, I guess I don't know how hard a BB... Like, how hard does a BB gun hit? Because, like, I don't know. But I'm assuming the fact that it did some damage definitely means something. It probably drastically depends, yeah. Like, because... I'm definitely... What do I think about his sin? I don't even know what to say to that. Like... He did... Like, the thing is, he did it indiscriminately, right? It's not like he was specifically targeting someone. But, like, obviously it's a wrong thing to do. But, like, what I think about it? Like, I don't even know what to think about. Like, what do I even say to something like that? Like, other than it's bad. I think Rena has a right to judge him for hiding that because she hid. But I think that's the point she was making. They both hid stuff from each other. So how, if they both did that, they're not friends. She just said it to him because she needed to get him off. Like, she can't at that point say like, oh, you know, we both hid something. No, at this point, she's like, she needs to prove herself right. So she's gonna hide information as well. But, and then, like, because they hid stuff from each other, they're not friends. She probably still cares for him. But at that moment, she knows that she needs to get out. And that was the best way to do it. She probably won't, in the moment, it doesn't hurt her, but it probably will hurt her later on. But, you know, like, Keiichi was being very convincing there, but at the end of the day, what Rena was saying is still pretty true. There's still a lot of accuracies to what she was saying, but nobody's gonna believe her. Except Oishi. Oishi believes her. I don't remember how many years ago it was. There was this beautiful village surrounded by nature, but the village was going to be submerged in water because of a new dam project. The villagers protested against it en masse. They held a sightseeing tour so people from other places could enjoy the local beauty. I joined the tour out of simple curiosity. If you hide stuff from your past, that means you're not friends? I don't think that's true. You don't know every single person, every single aspect of every single part of their lives. You know? I think certain things, you might want to tell them. Certain things, it's okay to keep it private. You don't go and tell your friends every single personal aspect about your life. It doesn't matter, like, if it's something that's meant to be hidden or not. Like, it's just something you don't do. Like, this is the best example I could think of right now. You don't tell your friends when exactly you jerked off. You know? Like, because of that. Like, you're technically hiding something from them. I joined the tour out of simple curiosity. I wanted to take a look at the nature that might sink under the water. But when I got there, the place took my breath away. The air was so clean and clear, and the landscape was beautiful beyond words. Since then, I was hooked on the inspiring nature of the place. I fell in love with the village so much that I was very glad when I heard that the dam project was cancelled. That village is where I'm building our new house. When I visited there, I found a beautiful field of wildflowers. I saw two cute girls playing in that field. Both of them were very beautiful with long, straight hair. They were probably neighbors or best friends. I still remember how they looked. One of them had a very beautiful face with a clear-cut profile for her age. The other had a pretty innocent look. I'm sure both of them will grow up into fine beauty. Okay, is this Keiichi's dad talking? You need to calm down. They were running around in the field like they were dancing. I asked them if the field was their playground. They said they were playing in hopes that newcomers would move to the village. Then I saw a sign saying lot for sale. That was when I began to think that it might be a great place to live. There was nothing here, and it was a bit inconvenient compared to the life in a city. But I sincerely believe this was the best place for us to start a new life together as a family. A lot of things happened back in the city, but a past is in the past. It's best that we move on. We learned a lot from our mistakes. I hope we can start anew, a more ideal life in this village. Keiichi, I hope you'll grow to love it here as much as I do. You do? I'm happy to hear that. I'm also happy that we've been doing a lot better as a family since we moved here. Back in the city, we were far from close, so I'm truly happy that we were able to start from scratch. Now I come to think about it, I've never had a chance to have a conversation with you like this before. Oh, Keiichi, do you know any 2 beautiful girls with long straight hair in your school? I think they're a lot younger than you. Oh, you know, 2 young beautiful girls. What are you saying? Huh? I don't think they're the ones I saw. You want to know why I asked? Oh, I just wanted to ask them to be models for my portraits. Okay. Oh yeah, cause Keiichi's dad was like a doujinshi artist, right? I think it was. And Keiichi punched him. Cough, cough. Wow. These are the same parents who casually... Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that. I'm like, this is the first time we actually hear something about his parents that's not like them leaving their son home. They always, that thing that they leave for better be important. Like, it better be important. If we find out about it. And if not, yeah. Yeah, they just leave Keiichi alone for like multiple days at a time without having any like dinner or like any stuff for him. Yeah. Or like having some preparation. Like maybe they give him money to go buy stuff, but they don't. But yeah. That'll be it from me then for today. Appreciate you go for longer. Yeah, it wasn't that much longer. I was just worried about it, you know, being too long. Well, I mean, when I finished, it was an hour, like 15 minutes into stream. You know, it was like barely anything. So, yeah. Like, I felt like I had to go more. When you guys said it wasn't that long, like, and yeah, it wasn't that long. I'm pretty sure that, like, that one was less than or like, it was about an hour. So, it was completely fine. But yeah, that'll be it from me then for today. We'll be finishing this soon. So yeah, I really have no clue where this leads from here, because Rena just left Keiichi crying in the garbage dump. And I don't know what's coming next. Where this goes. Maybe Rena lives, maybe she dies. Maybe she kills everyone on the planet and she's the only one alive left. That would be based by Rena. But we'll see.